we're definitely one of the hungrier teams for this title. I think we've had a lot of hype surrounding our team ever since even we first started playing.
We've been practicing about 8 hours per day going to this event, and everybody has been spamming a ton of Hero League. We want to get really comfortable in our heroes coming into this tournament.
One of my favourite dynamics for the team is we all like to joke around with each other. We're all comfortable with each other and we all hang out a lot. There's a lot of joking in-game, out-of-game, but when we have to get serious, we get serious.
I don't really have to tell people to practice because everyone is motivated and they want to be the best and they try their hardest all the time.
With Dignitas, I think we show that we have 5 incredibly strong players who all have the ability to make our own plays on the map. We can create situations from anywhere. I think we're very confident in our ability to play every map and play almost any style.
All of our players have pocket picks. Having those kind of versatile picks really gives us a boost in our drafting.
We're really coordinated. We can turn any situation that looks bad into our favor.
For me, winning at BlizzCon, it would be really awesome because we'll be the first team whoever gets the title.
And I think it'd be really cool to, say, oh yeah, we're representing Europe and we came into the first World Championship and, we smashed it. Like, that would be an awesome feeling.
There is some burden that comes with being the best team from your region. You want to show up to the event and you want to represent your region and bring it home. We are the hope of NA at this tournament.
I think the team we're most afraid of right now is probably DK, but I wouldn't say we're even afraid of them.
I think we have a great dynamic. We're kind of like a band of brothers. Our practice regimen leading up to BlizzCon has been really intense. We had about a 1.5 week long boot camp at NVIDIA where we spent our entire day scrimming, even as late until midnight. So we're coming in here with a lot of preparation and we're just ready to hit the stage.
Honestly, I think it was pretty rough for like the first month, just getting used to the Maelstrom playstyle. It was very different from the Vortex playstyle. I think I've adjusted pretty well since then. We've had a lot of time to kind of get used to each other as a team, and recently I think the results have been showing.
I'm probably pretty lucky in that I'm team captain of a bunch of guys who are kind of goofballs. We just don't tend to get heated or upset.
We get along a lot. After hours, after practice, people are usually still in the Skype call, hanging out. We're still grinding Hero League, stuff like that. We're really spending the majority of our days together.
I don't think we put much stock into rankings that are international right now, simply because we haven't seen the way the regions are going to clash. So until you actually play the games against the regions, you don't know how it'll fall out. So ranking sites right now that are speculative just don't mean much to us.
We're really excited about our invite to the Gold League in China. It starts the day after BlizzCon, so we're going to be already extremely practiced. We're going to be really familiar with the game, and we really want to see what their scene can offer.
I think the opportunity to go to China means a lot to me because one of the reasons I tried to get into pro gaming in the first place is because I wanted to travel. So to finally have an opportunity to go out of the country playing video games is just amazing.
We always thought that we could be the best. We always knew just in ourselves that we could be the best team, at least in North America, if not the world.
The Heroes of the Storm World Championship is brought to you in part by Intel, Windows 10, T-Mobile, and MasterCard.
Welcome back as we prepare for the finals of the Heroes of the Storm World Championship. It is my pleasure to introduce you to a special guest that has some words for us. It is the game director of Heroes of the Storm, Dustin Browder. Welcome, Dustin. Here you have some words for all these lovely people.
This is the most amazing week of eSports action we've ever had at BlizzCon. From all of us at Blizzard, it's our honor to welcome you to the very first Heroes of the Storm World Championship. Having only launched the game earlier this year, I'm absolutely blown away by the skill and strategy we have seen here today. To the teams, thank you for all of the effort you put into training and competing. You have fought tooth and nail on this long and hard road to BlizzCon. And let's give a hand to our top competitors who flew in from around the world to make history and compete for the first Heroes of the Storm World Championship. Finally, I want to thank all of the amazing players who competed in 2015, from the college students to our champions, and thank you to the growing Heroes of the Storm community for all of the support you give to our game. Because of you, the future for Heroes eSports is incredibly bright. I can't wait to see how this turns out.
We can't either, Dustin. Thank you so much. Let's hear one more hand for Dustin Browder. We'll see you soon. The feels are so high right now, and I'm standing next to a nice little piece of hardware. We all know that our teams will be taking home their portion of $500,000, but they're also taking with them something money can't even buy. This is the incredible Heroes of the Storm World Championship Trophy, which was designed by Sam Didier, Christopher Barkarzi, and Stephen Provost, and the Heroes art team. This bronze trophy, as you can see, has hexagonal pillars topped by translucent glass, letting the light shine through and illuminating the Heroes Nexus logo. And this thing weighs over 50 pounds. So the winning team may need to kind of just reinforce their fireplace mantle before they put it up there. It is a doozy, and they want it bad. Which teams want it? Well, let me introduce you to them right now. First, it is your blue team. They are from the European region, and they want to prove to you why they deserve to be the champions not only of Europe, but of the entire world. It is Team Dignitas. They are Atheroangel, Bakery, Zarmony, Snitch, and adrd. Let's hear it for them all. And though they are wearing blue, they will be your red team from the Americas region. They showed us that anything is possible by getting their spot in the finals with Murky on their team. It is Cloud9. iDream, Keiwan Pro, Fang, KingCaffeine, and DunkTrain. I think all of us out in the audience have just about as many goosebumps as I have right now. Solid Jake, are you feeling it?
Am I feeling it? BlizzCon 2015. This is the moment where we find out the best team in the world. 2 teams remain, and 3 casters at the desk will be calling it all. I'm Solid Jake, joined by Grubby and Kubi. And guys, how pumped are you?
What a rare treat to see the semifinals just now happen between Team Dignitas and Navi, and then Cloud9 and Team DK. Cloud9, amazing hero picks, Murky against Chen, and then winning with that just shows incredible class when there's so much at stake. We're in for the finals of a lifetime.
Based on what I just saw, you'd think I would be exhausted, but then I take a step back and remember this is the finals of BlizzCon for 2015. I could not be more elated. I mean, we're talking Murky, Lost Viking, Stitches, heroes that don't see the most playing competitive heroes busting it out when it matters the most, because $200,000 for first place and the trophy entitled as the best team in the world.
Yeah, it's not just enough to play really well and to play all the viable strategies at the very highest level. If you can surprise your opponent and wow the crowd, that's a huge extra bonus.
And wow, the crowd, they absolutely did. We heard how loud they can get for that Murky. Maybe we'll see it again. I don't know. Is it too crazy of a pick to bring back? We'll find out.
All right, so let's talk about these teams in some more depth. Team Dignitas from Europe actually fell to Na'Vi in Prague earlier this year at the European Championships, but obviously they triumphed over them today. Looking at their roster, of course, adrd, Atheroangel, Bakery, Snitch, and Zarmony, this team starting to bust out a very new style of their own.
Yeah, they have a very special kind of resilience, and by now they're starting to get known a little bit as the ones who will take down the favorites. They did it to Team Liquid first, the long-time reigning champion in Europe, and now they have toppled Na'Vi as well.
All right, well, their opponents on the red side, that is Cloud9, and of course, they were the champions of the Americas Championship, here to represent America. Now, speaking of Cloud9, we know a lot about their styles, but they just busted out Murky at the highest level with an unkillable composition.
Not to be overshadowed by Rexar as well. A couple of heroes that we have not seen. This team also kind of has a little bit of an underdog story as well. All the way up until that Vegas Championship, Tempo Storm had taken every single event, all of the opens in the North America region, and now they find themselves at the finals in BlizzCon.
I mean, coming into the event, just about everybody thought that Korea was an unbeatable force. I mean, prior results really showed that MVP Black, DK, these teams were on another level, but managing to triumph over them, we now have an NA versus EU finals, and that is quite uncommon for esports.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of these players are coming in from various other games. They have rich competitive histories. Team DK in particular is hailing 4 out of their 5 players coming from StarCraft 2, another one of the blockbuster games from Blizzard Entertainment, and they were pro-level players. We call it Code S. There's no higher level to reach than these 4 players did, and they were from Team DK, and Cloud9 has dismantled them in this newest game, in this most hopeful of games, 2-0 score.
Now, that's a bit of a rivalry based on that, right? These teams, they've hit head-to-head before. Obviously, Dignitas, they want revenge.
Yeah, having taken that 2-1 over them, you know that they are out for blood and want to be able to prove themselves, not just that they can take out NA, but also become the world champion. They are going to have to deal with some crazy strategies, and we've been seeing that develop all throughout this tournament. The rise of Tyrael, Sanctification, making huge plays. Atheroangel, I gotta highlight him as probably the MVP for Dignitas in that previous set against Na'Vi. Just an incredibly strong player and really showed why he is the go-to warrior on that team.
Kubi, how much of this do you think comes down to those warriors, right? We talked about Atheroangel's Tyrael play with not only Holy Ground and Sanctification, but KingCaffeine on Leoric.
Yeah.
I mean, some of those entombs are absolutely ridiculous.
I know, and in a game where you have Murky on your team, to have the entombs that are so strong that you have to take notice of them is insane, and that is really a testament to his play. And even in the Vegas Championship, some of those butcher body blocks while he's using that Ruthless Onslaught really made a name for himself as somebody who can make that snap decision to really save his team, and is shining as a warrior player on the North American side.
So it seems like Cloud9 is placing even more emphasis on Leoric than some of the teams or some of the regions indeed have done. With KingCaffeine even saying, doesn't matter all that much when I die. If I can trade evenly and I can take off a nice notch of their health points, I'll be back soon enough, and here's my second entomb.
Yeah, we like to call that Leorky, when you just dive in and you fall time and time again. But obviously it worked out well for them. Now, speaking of just drafting, right? These two teams, they both play very specific heroes. Bakery is known for Karazim. They're starting to become known for their Tyrael play on Dignitas. Do you think there's going to be very targeted bans in this matchup, or just more generic bans like Uther, Jaina?
Based on what I've heard from Cloud9, I was even mentioning this in the previous set, they just cannot deal with Tyrael right now. They understand and completely respect how strong of a hero this is, so they're not going to be spending their first ban on this. Not even sure that you would, but you also have to deal with Abathur as well. This is something that has really been a thorn in their side in the past. Not to say that they won't run it themselves, but they really do not want to be faced up against it. And then you have strong players also. We mentioned the Tyrael, but also Bakery. On that Karazim, also a very strong pick, and has made an amazing amount of plays in this tournament as well. What do you target out? It's becoming a very big deal, and that is really what is showing why these teams are where they are.
Now, Grubby, if you can't find a targeted ban that makes the most sense, do you need to just prepare a specific strategy you want to go for each battleground? Do you think you should try to just play it by, by ear and just wing it when you go into each draft?
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. This is probably going to be one of the most unpredictable drafts yet. It's a best of 5, which already changes the dynamic a little bit. And also, these teams are now facing at the very highest of stages. There's a big question mark. Do they still have something up their sleeve which they have, until this moment, not shown yet? That would be crazy. There's a few heroes that haven't been played yet. Thrall?
There's a few, but after watching a game with an unkillable composition, busting out heroes like Murky, you mentioned Rexar, you think Dig might be a little bit worried that they have other crazy strats up their sleeve? I mean, they actually fell to Na'Vi in the finals over in Prague versus very strange compositions, running things like Kerrigan and Butcher.
Yeah.
Butcher and Falstad, really kind of compositions we never ever see in competitive heroes.
Give a team a week to practice, and they may have some time to try and dismantle some of these strategies, but give a team half an hour to practice, and that's not going to be enough. I mean, Dignitas said we practice about 8 hours a day, and then we spam some Hero League as well in their pre-game interview. But how many of those hours were spent practicing against Murky? I can tell you from experience, half an hour is not enough to come up with a full comprehensive response against it. Still not going to mean that they're going to ban Murky, but it's certainly a bit of a worry.
Wow, the fact that Murky is having an impact on the World Championship Grand Finals, that is just insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, it's going to come down to those crazy strategies like you guys are talking about and having that time to develop something going forward. But, time is of the essence here, and they really have to show their flexibility as a team. And we know that some of the drafters on these teams really are sort of a crazy mindset in terms of that. They really can think outside the box, and that is really something that you need to have in this stage here.
Now, just thinking back to opening week, one thing that we saw very powerful on the side of Dignitas was adrd on Abathur and just the power of minds. And in a lot of ways, this is the kryptonite for Cloud9. They hate this cheesy split push style build, as they like to refer to it, but they just pulled that out in the last game.
Yeah, if you can't beat them, join them, right? So doing it themselves, obviously a very strong counter argument to the opponent not being able to do it. So are we going to see like a big struggle for Abathur, either going to ban it or pick it every time? adrd is very strong on that hero.
Yes, he is. We'll find out, because the draft for game number 1 on Dragonshire is ready to roll. Let's hop into it between Cloud9 and Team Dignitas. Insta-Uther ban. They just say, DunkTrain, he's so good with that hero. They do not want to have to think about the power of Divine Shield.
Nor are they necessarily removing one of their own support picks, because they do love to go for Karazim there, Team Dignitas.
Cloud9, yes, they're going to take him out. They said it earlier, we're not playing against this hero anymore, and they are still holding to that Tyrael. With the Sanctification has shown so many great plays, even Team Dignitas being able to slightly upset Na'Vi in that previous set.
I mean, if you watched the semifinals and you saw Atheroangel's plays just on Blackheart's Bay alone, you understand that ban very clearly. I mean, he's only been playing Heroes of the Storm for 3 months, and the fact that he can play the game at a level like this is just truly inspiring.
Yes, absolutely. Some players will never reach that level, and he did it in 3 months. He also had a bit of a competitive history, but he also seems like quite a talent. It's a pleasure to see him use heroes like Tyrael, and on a map that actually isn't that good for locking off locations on the map with Holy Ground. So he's making it work, even on an open map like Blackheart's Bay. Cloud9 says, no thank you.
Dignitas will opt to take that first pick up on Jaina. Seems to be a staple of that first pick rotation. Cloud9 grabs Muradin, something of an aggressive opening, one of the stronger warriors, especially when you take Tyrael out of the mix.
Could this be Muradin Tyrande, Muradin Kael'thas, one of those really heavy roam heroes? I mean, it is Dragonshire, and the roaming style is often quite successful.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by Tyrande here. It's a very good suggestion there, Jake. The 2 ranged heroes that can stun Kael'thas and Tyrande, and here more than on any other. Wow, they're gonna go with Karazim already. Yes.
This is huge. I mean, we just mentioned, if Team Dignitas is banning Uther, they're saying, well, we'll just grab Karazim.
And normally they get it.
Yeah.
But now, Cloud9 will take Karazim.
Okay, so that is going to be, and probably one of the more aggressive of the supports that you could pick up in this case. So, we've seen in the past from Bakery how many kinds of plays you can make, especially with those Radiant dashes to sort of finish off plays where any other support would not be able to do so. So Cloud9 has that under their belt. They are going to rotate over to the other side for Dignitas, grabbing Sonya and Tassadar.
Okay, they didn't need to take any hard support here, Team Dignitas, because Karazim was already taken for Cloud9. Off support makes a lot of sense. For the final picks, they have one more, like either Toronto or Malfurion or Brightwing or whatever, but they want to get the most important heroes here, and they judge that's going to be Sonya and Tassara, who work together really well.
Yeah, that's a very flexible draft. There's a lot of things that could work with that. You could, like you said, another warrior like Brightwing, or excuse me, another support like Brightwing, or a secondary warrior like Johanna to really just have some of that AoE of viability with Condemn, pulling them in, getting the Blizzard extra value, Psystorm as well.
Okay, now that Kel'Thas gets removed, Tyrande becomes a very likely pickup. Muradin by himself functions just fine as a solo warrior, solo tank, but oftentimes he would like to chain together his stuns with those heroes. Tyrande is still up. They have a primary support. She could be a great secondary one.
Cloud9 opts to ban out
Whoa!
EPC in their rotation. We'll get to that in a second. Falstad is picked up, a hero that we have not seen Cloud9 play in some time. This actually used to be one of their staple ranged assassins many months ago, and they have since switched to it, probably from Vala, something that's a little bit more akin to the meta Jaina Kel'Thas, but those options have been removed at this point.
I mean, yeah, Falstad in general has been so much less popular since the change to Gathering Power. And since then, really the only great success we've seen is paired with Butcher. I mean, you use Lamb to the Slaughter with Mighty Gust, you seclude a single hero, and this is exactly what Na'Vi did versus Dignitas, of course, but this was in very different situations, not on Dragonshire.
This is going to be a very exciting game already, as Falstad can fly from top shrine to the bottom one, or vice versa, to join his allies in combat and suddenly turn the table. Sylvanas is going to get picked up to add some pushing power to Cloud9. They've shown how intelligent they are with their strategical play, their rotations, and using the map to their advantage. In the last match, they just played semifinals against Team DK, and they're feeling like a little bit more of that.
Big thing to note is that all of the heroes on Cloud9's side do have some form of mobility to deal with Force Wall. That can really be a big deal. And we were talking about, you know, Holy Ground maybe not having the value that you would get. Force Wall quite a bit wider. You can make it work very well, especially in some of the spaces between the lanes. All four of those heroes can escape. Perhaps it is slightly targeted at that.
So Johanna, we have a few options here. We could go with Tyrande. We could go with Rhaegar, Brightwing. You could even go without a second support. Whoa, it's gonna be Morales!
The Medic has been picked up. Bakery did play a fair amount of this hero throughout this tournament to good success, so that's going to be quite powerful here for Dignitas. Two big frontliners, two supports, of course. Tassara kind of a half support, and then Jaina being the bulk of the damage.
Wow, so cool.
Question is there enough peel to keep Morales alive? Yes, Johanna, especially if we go for that Eternal Retaliation, be able to reduce the cooldown of the Condemn past level 4, and there's going to be a lot of minions in the area, but you just have the Spear from Sonya. Everything else is you're going to rely on a lot of body blocking to make sure the positioning is strong. Not saying that Bakery can't do it, but it is a somewhat risky pick.
You're very right, pointing out he is the most attractive target to focus. we have a bit of slow from Jaina with her ability coming, and of course Tassara shielding. Oh, Rexxar once again.
This is a rather interesting composition. Rexxar with Muradin, there's a fair amount of stun control there. I mean, the power of Misha, we saw earlier today, when you pick up Bestial Wrath, that bear hits so hard, and it just seems impossible to eliminate. Even if you do, it's akin to Murky, where Misha will just respawn after a short time.
And this is also very much a map-specific pick. You can see that Rexxar is nearly near his own gate as he's putting Misha on the shrine to occupy it. So this is a very smart battleground pick that apparently Cloud9 have been working on.
And not only is he really good at taking those shrines, but also very good at isolating targets in the back line during those team fights, especially after level 13 with that consistent damage output from Misha. You know that it's going to be sent straight towards the medic, and there's going to be the job of Dignitas to pull the bear off, at least to put enough damage out to push that back and really try to turn the team fight from there.
Kubi, we're seeing Falstad, we're seeing Rexxar, some weird stuff. Who do you think won the draft?
Based on what I saw from the Rexxar play in the Dragonshire game in that previous set, how can I argue against that? They really showed that this is another niche hero, along with Murky, that they can make work on the specific battleground. And I think until I see some kind of counterplay to that, they don't even have Zagara. What is going to be the contest in the top lane? It's going to be tough to hold that top shrine, which puts a lot of focus in the bottom shrine. I don't know. I got to give it to Cloud9 here.
Grubby?
It's a really difficult pick. We've got Cloud9 with some insane mobility. Falstad can fly across the map. Rexxar, very strong lane presence. This time not going to be ousted by Zagara. But we've also got Lieutenant Morales. She's got this heroic called the Medivac.
Oh, good point.
Man. Yes. Crazy things can happen.
They certainly can. All right, well, we want to know what you guys think, who you think the first ever Heroes of the Storm World Champion will be. So head on over to Twitter, use the hashtag HeroesWC, and tweet at Esports Heroes with the team that you think will win. But on that note, we are ready for the first game of Grand Finals here on Dragonshire. Let's get into it. On the blue side, it is Team Dignitas. adrd will be on Tassadar. Atheroangel playing Sonya. It's going to be Bakery on Morales. Snitch will be playing Jaina and Zarmony, rounding up the team as Johanna. Their opponents from America, Cloud9. DunkTrain playing as Kerosene. Fang on Sylvanas. iDream on Rexar. Keiwan Pro playing Falstad. And KingCaffeine the Warrior on Muradin.
And both teams are going to be blocking the middle minion waves again to try and get the mid struggle as close to their own gate as possible. They're going to try and use that to have a better position there and try and take down some of the opponent's heroes. This is a full 5 versus 5 in the middle. Don't worry, they'll disperse to the respective lanes, but you want to have every hand on deck for that first possible engagement.
Yeah, I mean, the middle lane does in fact push out a little bit further than the other two. And yeah, honestly, in a lot of situations, this is just a good way to buy time for the other lanes to catch up with them. Now, like you said, they're just going to soak up the middle minions and then rotate to their lanes respectively to make sure they don't miss any experience.
Now, Falstad is not going to use his fly ability yet. He's going to the bottom lane with all 4 of them. Now, this gives him an option to fly into the top lane later. Presumably, Rexar would use his abilities to make Tassadar use his escape, and then Falstad could fly in and finish him off.
All right, nice hunting wave going out there for Fang to get out of harm's way, but still a lot of pressure being put on by Dignitas early in this game.
Falstad flying to the middle there so that he doesn't have to go through the precarious middle there. Kind of bullying Joanna out of the lane here. A little bit of an XP lead for Team Dignitas here, but it's only because Cloud9 hasn't cleared the minions yet. We have quite a strong wave clear here on the side of Team Dignitas.
Yeah, both teams do have plenty of lane clear for sure. I mean, once Sylvanas gets to level 7 unstable poison, that makes a lot of help for removing those minions, but just a lot of safe posturing happening at the moment.
Yeah, and that's also when Rexar becomes a beast at clearing waves. Picking up that level 7 talent, Bird of Prey, doing double damage with his Q ability on minion waves. That's when they can start clearing waves like mad. For now, we have a status quo here, bit of a standoff as both are trying to capture a few shrines. You never want to rush too quickly to try and capture the Dragon Knight. As cool as it looks and as hard as it hits, you don't want to sacrifice heroes for it.
Yeah, early dragons tend to only take out 1 to 2 towers at most, and is it worth expending heroes to do that? Generally not. Dead even, both teams hitting level 4 at identical timings, both teams just really respecting each other.
I find K1 Pro's Falstad talent choices more than a little bit weird, Jake.
So updraft is the norm for them.
The level 1 is the norm for them. Wow.
But the spec into
Thunderstrikes?
That's new, right?
Every subsequent Thunderstrike does more damage. Normally you don't see that a lot. So very different Falstad play here. Mobility there. He gets more travel distance with his level 1 updraft ability, so he becomes it becomes that he has a better escape. I'm starting to wonder if he will take Epic Mount at level 20.
Oh man, I certainly love to see that. You can make the big plays happen. I'm actually most curious to see what he goes for as heroic. I mean, Mighty Gus, Influence Blast, both very popular heroics, very powerful heroics. But we haven't seen Influence Blast used in so long. With Tassadar in a bit of a bad spot here. Misha Charge does stun him out. Not enough for the kill.
Yeah, KingCaffeine's upwards rotations are providing a bit of a trouble there. Tassadar has to hardstone back there. adrd will be going back up the top. Missing a little bit of XP, but it's certainly better than losing a hero at this point already. Zarmony, likewise, portaling back. Nope, he changed his mind. Well, that's allowed.
All right, well, just a lot of safe soaking dead even experience still at this point in the game. Looking for those level 7 talents. That's when, like you said, they can start to push through the minion waves a bit more quickly. That means they can rotate more effectively and try to get some kills. Again, you can see the power of updraft there on Falstad, getting him behind his safety.
Yeah, exactly. And also noticing that there's a lot of escape on the side of Cloud9. We see a different talent choice by Jaina here at level 1. Not going for the deep chill, increasing another 10% extra movement slow. Saying, well, they all have their natural escape anyway. They can barrel roll away, they can jump away. Instead going for extra mana. Just keeping more sustained power, realizing that this might be a very long, drawn-out shrine battle.
Yeah, there can be a lot of fights here. Keiwan Pro taking a lot of damage. First aid has to use that gust to get over the wall, staying alive for the time being. Athero gonna get the Ancient Spear onto DunkTrain. It's a lot of damage, but Karazine can slip away.
One of the hardest battlegrounds to actually observe, since there's always a lot of action going on in the top and the bottom. Dimensional shift, but he has the deep shift ability, adding 1.5 extra seconds on his invisibility and invincibility, allowing him to get away, and no Stormbolt follow-up there. So now that that is known, Murden will know that he has to time a Stormbolt after that. Managed to get away.
All right, Shrine still 1-1. Zarmony taking a lot of damage. If he falls here, that would be first blood in this game, but we do see the Iron Skin keeping him alive for a while. Zarmony super low, but the final shot of Sylvanas takes him out.
First blood by Cloud9. Athero running away here, taking the high road. The damage has been done. Savannah still pushing the middle. And now we're going to suddenly see a 5 versus 4, an instant capitalization on that by Cloud9, capping both shrines and going to try and put pressure on the middle lane.
I mean, already the mobility of Falstad being shown there, able to fly down, put that huge presence in the bottom lane to make sure they control both shrines for a short while. But Johanna is back in action, and this is going to be a very hard dragon pickup unless they can pick off 1 to 2 heroes.
Murden still at the bottom, soaking XP for Cloud9. This may translate into a much quicker level 10 for Cloud9. Still the pressure of those double red lasers. It's always so scary. Zarmony moving in.
Yeah, they're really just putting that threat of the dragon there, forcing them forward, forcing them to spend their abilities. Blizzard, we saw the flashlight of Johanna, the skill shots going out from Morales as well, but Snitch is...
Oh, Stormbolt!
The Stormbolt connects, and he goes down. They're turning on his army. They picked up a Dragon Knight, and Cloud9 suddenly is...
Oh, the body blocks! Oh, almost Zarmony got taken out. Body blocking Johanna with Falstad. Keiwan's pro audacity is boundless, it almost seemed like, but then he finally gave the ground as he started taking too much damage.
All right, Keiwan trading out pretty effectively versus adrd, but able to use that dimensional shift to get out of harm's way. Cloud9 currently up 2-0, but they do have their heroics running through them. We see Wailing was picked up along with 7-sided strike Avatar. We have Misha, but Falstad is debating his heroic.
Or maybe hiding it. Showing last minute whether it will be the damage or the displacement. In the meantime, we have a convergence on iDream. He doesn't have any escape. Can DunkTrain keep him alive?
Oh my goodness, the Jaina damage is coming through. Gus managed to pick him off, and the Mighty Gus was picked up, but just a little bit too late.
Could not blow that Blizzard away. Second wave catching iDream there. Managed to finish him off. So it is going to be Mighty Gust. And that is a very short heroic cooldown. 20 seconds left. Dragon Knight did a fair amount of damage, taking down some walls, getting a bit more of an experience lead for Cloud9.
It's also interesting that Tassadar is considering his heroic pickup here. Force Wall has been quite prominent in this tournament, but the power of Archon, not what it once used to be, but still quite good for your team. And when you have 2 supports, do you really need Force Wall?
Yeah, it is a very difficult choice, and he's hiding it for a reason, just to cast a bit of doubt into it. You may even be letting it depend on how the game goes. I don't think so, probably. I think it's probably just hiding it. But yeah, if you were ever going to take Archon, you should hide it as long as possible. That's what these pro gamers can pretty much afford themselves. They're good enough not to be like, oh no, I didn't pick my heroic, didn't use it in the fight. No, these guys are really good. So it's just one click away, and the element of surprise is worth a lot.
Okay, Athero, Keiwan Pro dueling in the top part of the battleground. A nice Ancient Spirit going off, but Mighty Gust is spent to slip away. Of course, that's a 40-second cooldown heroic. Not a big deal to use that in that situation.
Yeah, just like Kel'Thas's Phoenix, it can be used almost as a 4th basic ability. Whenever you can save yourself with it, you should definitely do it. Pressure now by Team Dignitas. They want to force a fight before level 13, but that becomes a forlorn hope as Cloud9 is drawing very near. Stormbolts connects. Wailing arrow!
And the Envenom goes off. Snitch will end up falling here, and they're putting some pressure onto Johanna in the bottom, but with that pickup, Cloud9 secured themselves a full level lead in level 13 with those talents.
Yeah, nicely done by them. They can continue to pressure now the power of Sylvanas, which is why Cloud9 loves that hero so much, pushing the bottom forward with impunity. Nothing to be done by Johanna. All she can do, all Zarmony can do there on Johanna, is just to stay near it and try and get a bit of experience and try to slow the advance of Cloud9's rampage.
Yeah, just absolutely phenomenal decision-making, 3-1 in terms of kills. The Dragon Trines are once again active, and if you control them, you can get that Dragonite. But we do see Dignitas, they've kind of recuperated, they're back on the battlefield, and they're putting that presence in the top part of the battleground.
I feel a lot of confidence coming from Cloud9 here. The way they are playing shows a lot of confidence and power. That Mighty Gust was a little bit overconfident, didn't hit anything, but they still have control, which means they can pretty much dictate how the next fight is going.
All right, KingCaffeine actually just wasted Dwarf Toss, so if he goes too deep, he can't get back out until it's off cooldown. So he does have to play careful here. Yeah, just walking away a little bit with Johanna in that front line. Notice Sonya hiding in the bush. If they step forward too much, the Ancient Spear will come out in a heartbeat.
Now, every 5 versus 4 is an investment. You need to get something done. iDream was still pushing the top XP. That means that Athero had to leave now. Dragonite for Cloud9.
Right under their nose. The moment they stepped away, Cloud9 was so confident to just step forward and channel and grab that dragon.
Oh, Snitch,
no.
Can he get away? Ice block.
K1 Pro, bit of a bad situation. The shields come off. Mighty Gust is
flying away.
He's trying to fly. The snowball just barely doesn't take him down.
You saw the projectile following him. Unbelievable.
Oh man, Athero is looking for blood here in the top, though. We do see DunkTrain, the whole team up here except for Falstad. He will not have Fly for some time since he used it defensively, so he just needs to heal up and come back out of the action. Cloud9 playing rather safe, but they have that 2-level advantage.
90% HP on the Dragonite, 20 seconds left. They can start using it a bit more brazenly, starting to hit that fort a little bit, and that's exactly what KingCaffeine is doing. He doesn't care about the damage he's taking anymore. 12 seconds is what he's got, and what he wants is level 16 and taking down this fort.
Oh, this is such a huge window with that level advantage for them. They can be as aggressive as they like to really try to bring the pain and force themselves into a great spot for level 20.
All right, level 16 has been reached. Feign death for Rexar. We've got Stone Skin coming out for Muradin. Karazim is going with the Circle of Life, presumably. And the dagger that makes everyone a little bit more invulnerable, vulnerable from Sylvanas.
Oh no, we see the Dimensional Shift has to be used already. adrd in a bit of a bad spot, a lot of damage going up. Again, Prescience goes off, but will he be able to survive through this? Blessed Shield does not manage to hit anyone, just buying time to get them out of there.
Cloud9 is starting to throw their weight around here as they're starting to steal Dignitas' Siege Giant. There's no label on it, but you can pretty much assume it's on their own side. Normally Dignitas would love to have them. Is Cloud9 going to pressure with that? We see iDream soaking the middle lane with Rexar. Even as they're starting to push in, iDream is going to join his allies in combat. And what?
Tassadar, the explosion from the minions. Unstable Poison takes him out.
Wow.
They're powering through this wall with their giants. Just escorting them, getting them in 7. Doing so much.
Zarmony!
The heals are not enough, and he goes down. Cloud9 will get a keep only 12 minutes into this game.
It's a double kill out of nothing. Cloud9 takes a keep at minute 12 and will live to tell the tale easily. Started to take down a healing fountain a little bit. Athero was taking a bruiser cap. Now they're starting to push into the middle. We've got another 20 seconds of no Johanna. This could be a second keep, Jake.
Oh my goodness, it is. I mean, this is insane. Cloud9 just showing how confident they are. A lot of teams would have just opted to back out, but Sylvanas disabling those structures. You see she was actually going back and forth between the tower and the keep to make sure they took no damage. They are in a dominating spot right now.
Very nice play there by Fang on Sylvanas, and a bit of a blunder there by adrd, dying on the Tassadar so close to the gate. I guess they died there as a team, as he was unable to save himself with prescience, with dimensional shift, with healing from Morales. It's just a bit unlucky. And Jake, we have yet to see a single medivac.
You're right. They haven't really been in an opportunity where they can use that to go across the map and try to make plays. Medivac's something that you often use either to escape or to attack in a very specific manner, right? Over maybe one shrine.
Exactly.
Or to chase someone when they're falling, or when you're chasing them into their lane. But they've never really been in a spot where it made a whole lot of sense to use.
Right, they have not been in a level of comfort. Cloud9 has put the pressure on, they have piled it on, and they're keeping it on. I see Falstad flying to the back, Sonya in the middle, being Mighty Gusted away, 7-sided strike!
So much damage from that Karazim Heroic. 50% of your health gets removed, and Sonya falls like she's nothing.
Now they're starting to close in, hungry for blood. Chasing here, Karazim with his punches. They're starting to occupy the shrines now. Fan on Sylvanas. Heading towards the middle.
And there's the medevac going to the top lane. So this is the use you want to see. They're trying to stall out the dragon. Will Cloud9 channel in time? No. So that is going to be Bakery picking that up, and a nice denial of the dragon.
Yeah, very good move. Note also that if he stayed a second longer, he would have the shrine, but he would be at risk of dying. A very fair trade. Taking it to the halfway point disables it for the opponent, but all it actually did was provide something like a 10-second delay. Cloud9 still gets the Dragonite. They're pushing in. There's no keep in the middle lane, and it's level 20 versus 17.
Yeah, they're going to have those Storm Talents any moment, and note that they're going down the mid lane, which means they want the core. 2 keeps down already, a 3-level advantage. This defense is not going to be easy.
As the tower goes down, the way is clear. They're starting to be pushing in here. KingCaffeine on the Dragonite looking for his next move. New minion wave is spawning.
Yeah, just drive them back a little bit as they regain their composure. They want to escort those catapults up forward, and even this split push from Falstad, the fact that he can take out these towers in the top lane and then fly into the battle when he's needed most is just exemplifying how good he is with that global mobility he has.
Yeah, exactly. Now we see Epic Mount indeed, by the way, being picked up by him. Super cool. And they're starting to push in through the top again. Oh, suicide strike, Wailing Arrow!
A lot of sustain comes out to keep Johanna up. Wailing Arrow not quite enough to seal the deal for any of those kills, but they're all very weak, and the dragon is...
Oh, the dodge on the Blessed Shield!
Nicely done there. The keep will end up falling. Falstad rotating around the bottom. I believe Mighty Gus is still down, so they don't have that. Snitch is getting super low ice block to dodge the Stormbolt. And KingCaffeine needs to back away, but the core is starting to take some damage.
K1 Pro jumping in with Falstad. They have 4 catapults pushing in. I feel like at this point they can just go for the core.
They're going for it. Cloud9 is knocking on the door of Dignitas. It's down to 40%, and I think they've done it. Game number 1 goes to Cloud9. Start to this grand finals. The rotations, the plays, busting out Falstad. A hero we haven't seen them play on Dragonshire, and I don't know how long, when it matters the most.
Absolutely amazing play by Cloud9 as they fairly trashed Team Dignitas in the opening game. A strong statement that says, we are here in the grand finals and it belongs to us. And now it will remain to be seen whether Team Dignitas can provide a compelling counter-argument to that.
I mean, it really seems like they shook them up in the draft, right? Cloud9 not going with what they're predicted to do. That's what it's all about in the grand finals, throwing off your opponent. Even StarCraft, any strategy game, you're going to try to do a new build order that your opponent doesn't really fully understand, and it seemed to work out pretty well, Kubi.
Yes, absolutely. We actually got to see a little bit of a different style of that Karazim that it's been all about the Divine Palms up until this point and how well Bakery was able to, execute those always at the last second. But there is that other very viable option in the 7-sided strike. Now, we were sort of hyping up the Rexar play and really the capability that you have with that bear out, and that stun could come out at any moment, right? So they did a very nice play in the bottom lane that I really want to highlight in our Windows 10 game DVR replay, so let's head on over to that. Now, the real big setup for it is we just had this takedown on Tassadar in the bottom lane, and look at this position that Zarmony has stepped forward into. The big thing that I want to highlight is that he feels safe. Now, Johanna is a hero that has the iron skin, and that grants her unstoppable. She cannot be stunned out for this time, but you have crossed this line, and you have gone too far. We have the bear that is just right here, and like I said, at any moment, that stun could fly out. Once that happens, we are going to see the 7-sided strike. That's 7% HP taken away. It doesn't matter how high your HP pool is, you are going to take half of your health if you're stepping in every single hit of that 7-sided strike. So go ahead and advance it right here. He steps forward. There's the stun from iDream, taking most of the hits from that, able to get a great lockdown in KingCaffeine with the Dwarf Toss to follow that up. Just a really nice execution of a different style of play for that Karazim.
Dwarf Toss kills are possibly my favorite type of kill in the whole game because it doesn't look like it should do a lot of damage, but it does enough to secure those last hits quite a bit.
Yeah, exactly. And if it had been just a single kill on Tassadar, it could still be salvageable. Maybe they could still save the middle keep. Yeah. But with that second one there on Johanna, and the way that they were staggered with 15 seconds in between them, that was really the one that gave them a second keep and ultimately sealed the game completely in Cloud9's favor.
You know, but this is a best-of-5 series. Many games, I mean, you need to win 3 times to secure yourself a victory, so there's plenty of time for Cloud9 to not secure it, for Dignitas to bring it back. Because Cloud9, of course, 2 more wins, that's a whole best-of-3 matchup right there.
Absolutely is. But really, it's all about that mental edge as well, and you cannot stress that enough. Having just taken down DK in a 2-0 in a very convincing fashion with some strange hero picks, and now being launched right into the grand finals with a 1-0 victory, you know Cloud9's feeling good.
You know, we actually have something really cool set up, a very special interview over with Anna. Anna, take it away.
This is special indeed, guys, because I am here with DunkTrain's parents. Can we get a choo-choo for them? What are your names?
Arabian.
Caroline. So nice to meet you guys. How does it feel to be sitting here in the audience surrounded by people who are cheering for your son in this match?
Fantastic. Just loving the experience. We've been watching for months as he's been playing, so it's great stuff. Great stuff.
Is this ever a career path you thought you would see him take?
God, no. No. Not at all.
But are you excited about it now?
Oh, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. We love it, and we're looking forward to them play the next games.
Do you feel like they have a really good chance to take the finals?
Absolutely. Absolutely. With this crowd behind them, yes.
Is there anything, if you could say, this is a great crowd, it really is. If you could say one thing right now to your son before he plays this next and potentially, well, not quite final match, what would you say?
Keep going, don't give him a break, and let's win it for the USA.
Don't blow it.
Thank you so much. Guys, we will be right back with more Heroes of the Storm right after this.
I think DunkTrain, as our captain, really brings a lot of stability to our team. We can, on occasion, get a little rowdy or kind of lose focus on what we're really trying to be practicing. And Dunk's really the one to be there and bring it all together and make sure that we stay on track.
Our team captain is just a really reasonable guy, and whenever there's just arguments or disagreements, he'll be there to just fix things. And whenever we just lose track of practice, he gets us focused again.
I'm team captain of a bunch of guys who are kind of goofballs. It makes it a lot easier. We just don't tend to get heated or upset, and you don't need to make administrative decisions that, you know, turn one person against another or anything like that, just because we're so relaxed.
I think like everyone on the team has pretty big egos, and Dunk is able to keep calm, and whenever we have like, you know, disagreements or whatever, he's there to kind of, you know, keep the peace.
Today, we retake our homeworld, and with it, our legacy. My life for hire. StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void. Pre-purchase now at StarCraft.com. Let's end this thing. Once and for all. My life for hire. StarCraft 2, Legacy of the Void. Pre-purchase now at StarCraft.com.
Prepare yourselves. Coming this fall, a Hearthstone tournament like none other. The Collegiate Hearthstone Championship. In a whole new competitive format, teams of 3 from across North America will gather, craft their decks, and work together to be crowned champions.
You asked for
For justice.
And with over $100,000 in scholarships to win, why not give it a shot? For all the details, check out the link below. So gather your crew and sign up today. And stay tuned for more information about the live finals later this year.
We started playing as Bob. It was when adrd had been from Gamers 2, and 3 of our players had started playing from SK, and then we found Atheroangel who started playing the game. He'd been a friend of mine before we started playing Heroes of the Storm. So it was around that time that we were like, okay, we're 5 really strong individual players. A lot of us have experience in the past. We have the knowledge. adrd is an incredibly smart captain and drafter and a shot caller. So I think if we said if we put all this together, I think we can make a top level team.
Alrighty guys, welcome back here to BlizzCon 2015 Grand Finals for Heroes of the Storm. I'm Solid Jake with Grubby and Kubi, and you know what? We've got a special announcement. We've just found out that we'll be launching a special championship bundle based on the winning teams, heroes and skins of the final game here in the championship. This will be available globally after BlizzCon, so all the sick heroes, the skins they're rocking, those will be on sale.
That sounds pretty nice. I like the idea of that.
So if Cloud9 wants to, I'm assuming too much. If the winning team,
hey, they're going to play murky. No, they will do it for the people.
Exactly. They could be like, okay, which one do we want to put on sale? And they'll just pick freely on that. And not about competitive merit.
I think they're going to pick all the cheapest heroes, like Raynor, and then just go with that.
Oh, man.
All right, so let's talk about game 1. Cloud9 busting out Falstad on Dragonshire to great success, a bit of a new build. Kubi, what did you think of that style, the talent choices?
I thought especially some of the plays that he was making, he was really showing the capability to be like almost overextending in some cases, where we saw that play where he almost was able to take out Jaina in the bottom lane. Ice Block was popped at the last moment, but being able to use that Mighty Gust and then buying time to make use of the flight ability really just showcased the mobility that the hero has on a battleground like Dragonshire. Being able to swap up after a quick team fight, going up to the shrine at the top, really just showed the ingenuity of the team.
Now, Grubby, now that Dignitas has experienced a lot of different things from Cloud9, they saw the composition with Murky, they saw Rexar used multiple times, now Falstad being busted out. You think they're going to try to go for just a really safe, well-rounded composition, a very generic, like, Uther with Muradin, Jaina, go for that, like the ideal, if you will?
Yeah, certainly Team Dignitas has received a cocktail of surprises from Cloud9 here in terms of both the bans and the picks. Let's not forget that we saw an Uther ban with a Kharazim pick, taking it away from Team Dignitas. In the previous times, we've seen Dignitas respond to this with a first pick Kharazim. I said, whatever strong heroes are the fad of the month, this time we want to just lock that one in, because now you are aware how good we are with Kharazim, and we want to make sure you cannot take him away again. We've seen that before. Maybe we'll see some more of that.
I'm curious if Cloud9 would be willing to go first pick Kharazim themselves. Of course, we don't know who has first pick, first ban in this draft just yet, but really the way it works is you either pick the battleground or you get the first pick for your draft. So stylistically, it's on the losing team for game number 2.
Now, if it does put Cloud9 into the situation where they want to first pick Kharazim based on the fact that Dignitas will do it, and then they move to, shifting to the ban, that's going to take up the spot where Tyrael is so happily residing in Cloud9. So we're going to start to actually see, because we're in a best of 5 and series that you see are, best of 5 or longer, there's almost like a mini meta that develops between these two teams. And it's so exciting to see the adaptations between the two. And even just watching Kharazim shift up perhaps a little bit in the draft is that type of thing.
Yeah, we see a whole new dimension of draft strategy because it is a best of 5. We see up to 5 games instead of just 2 or 3 or so, and that's really going to change it. Kubi said that Tyrael will be removed every time by Cloud9. They just do not want to play against it. They may change their opinion about it, but so far they seem pretty satisfied about the proceedings.
Well, I'm curious to find out what they'll do for game number 2, so let's hop on into the draft. Game 2, Cloud9 up 1-0 here on Cursed Hollow. And this draft is going to determine a lot. Now, this is a battleground where heroes like Abathur are quite popular, right? He's a prominent hero. You got the split, so you have a lot of damage. But Dignitas, they're banning out Jaina, realizing that the Uther ban didn't work out all that well for them in Game 1.
Yeah, now they know they cannot play a game about supports anymore because Cloud9 has shown themselves with DunkTrain being comfortable also on Kharazim. Normally, that has not been a concern. We don't see that high of a prioritization of Kharazim. Cloud9 sticking with their guns, putting their foot down and still saying no Tyrael.
Speaking of a little bit of mind games going on, this is the second battleground that was chosen in Cloud9 versus DK. This is the battleground choice for Cloud9 now in the grand finals. We saw some really weird strategies with that Murky, the Tassadar, Abathur, Leoric, all being played out. Does this factor into Dignitas' draft now? Because they just so recently saw that be successful against a team as strong as DK, how does that manipulate their picks?
For now, they're going to be taking Abathur. It was an important linchpin of the Cloud9 strategy that we just saw, so that has already been dismantled a little bit. Abathur providing so much value on a map like Cursed Hollow with his Locust Strain ability with which he can push, and of course, pretty much every ability in his kit, actually.
I mean, step back to the matchup in opening week. adrd was playing Abathur going the full Toxic Nest build, and this just dismantled Cloud9. Every time they stepped on a mine, they would capitalize. Sonya would be there with the Ancient Spear, and Atheroangel was just getting kills left after right.
Yeah, KingCaffeine was unable to use his Wraith Walk to get away in time from the nest, because there was always one more mine behind him on the escape routes. The mad scientist adrd placing those toxic nests so well.
Yes.
Now, how is Cloud9 going to respond?
Now, Sonya was a big factor in that as well, especially with those slow mines. And if you can buy time for Sonya to just be next to a target that is that slowed, she will be able to take them out in quick succession. Does Cloud9 factor that in to this draft? Do they continue to move with something that's a little bit more rotationally heavy, like we've seen in the past with Muradin? Exactly.
I mean, I like this pickup a lot. Muradin is great for denying not only those attacks from the potential Sonya, he has the escape with Dwarf Toss, and Reverberation is very good against auto-tech-style heroes. So, you know, it's just very good, well-rounded, and Uther will be picked up, of course, when he's available.
Dignitas will not have to pick Kharazim right away because the support has already been picked. Until today, maybe we'll see it. We've never seen Uther Kharazim yet, but of course he could be banned away in that second ban phase, so it does become a concern. Maybe they will take Kharazim, maybe not.
Okay, and you know, like you were saying, that can probably wait until later, but also things that could wait until later is what is perhaps that melee assassin, or who is that hero they're going to try to focus on, Dignitas, with that Abathur, right? Do they show that early? You've got to be careful with that because you allow some, you know, potential counterplay with the rest of the picks of Cloud9, so we'll have to see.
What's interesting to me is the fact that this is a battleground where we have seen them play Butcher, we have seen them play Falstad, and we have seen them play Kerrigan. So Butcher, Falstad, maybe Kerrigan, Falstad, they could try to do something weird like that. But Kharazim, Kael'thas sticking to the staples.
Okay, so the interesting thing about picking Kharazim and Kael'thas is that these are two heroes that, you know, Cloud9 is pretty sure they're going to pick when they get the opportunity to do so. And it's like, well, why would they grab them so early in the draft? I'll tell you why. It's so that they can save the element of surprise for that later portion. They don't actually know. There's a bit of an air of mystery to what that remaining set of picks will be. Who is the warrior? What is that potential melee assassin?
Very smart ban of Sylvanas there. Sylvanas very good against fragile compositions, especially warriorless compositions, because they rely not on their health pool, but on very important key mechanics in how their abilities tie together. They don't want to go up against that Wailing Arrow. For now, Cloud9's strategy has been doing a monopoly on good warriors, removing both ETC and Tyrael.
I think that's actually quite good. I mean, we've seen the power of ETC. DK really showcased that this weekend. But Sonya being picked up from Cloud9 with Divine Shield, she becomes quite hard to take out.
Okay, so they're going to have some control, especially available too. Even, again, slows available for Sonya, and that's also potentially a bit of a removal. We mentioned how good Sonya can be with those Abathur mines being rotated, and Falstad once more.
Now, this is not that weird for Cloud9. This is the one battleground where they would play him. So to see him being played successfully in Dragonshire, they have to be feeling good. Like you said, so many situations where he seemed overextended. Very risky positions for Falstad, able to get out. He has the ability to rotate, and he also has the ability to hunt for Abathur, pick him off, and then fly down to the big battle where he needs to be.
Yeah, exactly. He's one of the better Abathur counters. Zeratul and Falstad probably right up there. So very smart pick in every single respect. Zeratul by Team Dignitas. That means that they will either play... Well, no, they still have a warrior pick. Okay, they can still go for a warrior. I was thinking, oh, okay, it's going to be Arthas.
Oh, a great target to have the Abathur hat on, and also a great clone target along with Zeratul. Wow, what a draft so far for Dignitas. Their composition, I would say they can feel very comfortable having.
Yeah, I mean, the Zeratul pick is good for A, defensively, and B, denial. If you have Abathur on your team, you do not want Zeratul looking for your Abathur. That is a very powerful thing to have. So very smart pickup on their side. But it's going to be interesting to see how the control works out. Will Arthas go for Army of the Dead and then Divine Palm? Sometimes communication is very difficult in those situations. Is Cinder Ghost going to be the play of choice for Arthas? We're going to have to find out.
Cloud9 has one more choice. From the looks of it, maybe something ranged. It's going to be Tassadar, a secondary support, helping out Sonya to get in there and stay safe, providing a lot of vision as well. And most key of all, perhaps, the use of his trait, the Oracle ability to try and deal with what Cloud9 has said are some of those most annoying toxic nest placements.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the power of mines in opening week, and they were everywhere, like an absolutely devastating number of mines scattered in all the right places. adrd on Abathur, he is a legend.
So now we're in a situation where we have a lot of control available to the battleground from Dignitas and a lot of mobility now, especially with Falstad. Tassadar is difficult to take down as well. So it's going to be two little bit differing strategies for either side. We'll have to see which is more effective in this game number 2.
Yeah, we see Team Dignitas, they can turn any 1 versus 1 into a 3 versus 1, with Abathur coming either with a copy or with the symbiote hat, and then Zeratul coming from the shadow. So Cloud9 is going to have to show an unusual amount of restraint in trying to seek 1v1 duels, and they're going to have to play together like a team, as they already have been doing.
Alrighty, guys. Well, we want you all to join us on Twitter. Use the hashtag HeroesWC. Tweet at eSports Heroes. Look at that. Cloud9 in favor. Are you guys ready for game number 2? I think that'll do. Guys, let's hop on into it. Game number 2 on Cursed Hollow between Cloud9 and Dignitas North America versus Europe. The Heroes of the Storm World Championship. This is it. On the blue side will be Team Dignitas with adrd on Abathur, Atheroangel playing Kael'thas, Bakery on the legendary Karazim, Snitch on Zeratul, and Zarmony playing as Arthas. Their opponents, Cloud9, with DunkTrain on Uther, Fang playing Tassadar, iDream on Sonya, Keiwan Pro on Falstad, and KingCaffeine once again on Murd. And look, the Mount Synergy, it's consistent through every game.
Yes, exactly. It's very important.
It is. And oh, is that the new Falstad skin?
Is that the rare parrot? Is it a pirate riding a parrot?
Oh, I want that skin so bad. So attractive. Alrighty, well, Cursed Hollow, once again, they're actually body blocking those minions, throwing this on the back. But look at this. Dignitas suspects they might be doing this, and they're waiting in their bush. This is a very cool play.
But I mean,
next level meta.
Tassadar has the vision. Is he going to use it in 3, 2, 1? There we go. And Howling Blast will miss. Zarmony does not catch a fish on the end of that fishing rod.
Okay, well, they do need to split up and make sure they get those soak in the lanes respectively. We see Falstad flying down, KingCaffeine already in the top, so crisis controlled. They do not miss a single minion. But Dignitas, they did miss some in the bottom lane.
Yeah, they missed 2 footmen at the bottom lane, maybe 1 at the top as well, so that's about 165-ish XP lost already. It's not all too bad, but it counts for a little bit.
Yeah, every small little bit, can make a difference in the game. A lot of presence in the mid, though. Tassadar does get hit by the gravity lapse and will have to use Dimensional Shift to get out of harm's way.
Now, that's a 20-second cooldown. That's why you can see Dignitas work so hard for trying to take down a Tassadar, which is virtually impossible. They also wanted to clear wave quickly so they could help at the bottom. A big 3-man attack here. Rending Cleave there, missing from Snitch. Will not be doing any damage, and Cloud9 smartly pulls it back for now.
Okay, but they did do a fair amount of damage to that bottom tower, and that's just kind of like a sign of one of the threats they have with Falstad. If they do see an opening, they're going to go for structural damage. Falstad can fly down there or walk down and fly back to his respective lane. But wow, this Tassadar is taking a lot of damage.
Yeah, didn't need to use Dimensional Shift. Flame Strike had already hit him. Now they're going to get a tower. Almost going to get a tower. Will Keiwan Pro finish it? Yes, he will.
All right, a nice early pickup, but Zeratul has made his way in. We do see a nice dash out, but Uther will end up falling early in this game.
First blood for Team Dignitas with the Gravity Lapse and Flame Strike. Athero is going to port back for now. He's going to rejoin the lane once again. I really like what Cloud9 is doing here, putting such heavy pressure and taking down the tower early. Even though they lost the hero, they're still ahead in XP. Whenever you're facing Abathur on the ladder in Hero League or Quick Match, you want to put a big, heavy 3-man pressure on one of the lanes. Abathur is a very strong late game hero, a true beast, but he lacks a little bit of presence in the early game, and you want to abuse that.
Yeah, but so far so good for Dignitas. They're staying quite even in XP. They do have that first kill of the game, but will they be able to go toe-to-toe for this first tribute? Look at this nest.
There we have Oracle coming into play, giving iDream the chance to clear them up with his Whirlwind. Oh, Bakery gonna get cancelled from that tribute.
Okay, restarting to start that channel once again. Now that the mines have been cleaned up, of course, there is a bit of a cooldown to be able to place them again. So you can't get a big nest build up like that in a short period of time.
I like what Keiwan Pro is doing on the fast side at the bottom there, not giving Abathur the advantage of soaking experience. All by himself.
Yep, Oracle popped in Dream, also just pushing up this lane, realizing that it's going to be a bit of a stalled out fight for the time being. Dwarf toss for KingCaffeine, barely slipping away. The heals are there. Dream starting to look into the back line. Zarmony quite low or thorough. One Ancient Spear could be his death, but no, a nice gravity lapse going out. Zarmony, though, does get connected on. A lot of Stormbolt connects there as well, and that will be the first kill for Cloud9. Dunk a bit out of position, gonna have to mount up and rejoin his team, but no, it's going to be Fan grabbing the first tribute of the game.
Very nice play by Cloud9, getting the first tribute, 2 away from casting a curse upon their opponent, which will disable all of their minions and forts.
Wow, I mean, even Abathur down here, not able to defend against a false head, which is left alone. So he powered through the entire wall, half-level lead for Cloud9, about to have those level 7 talents.
And in an unusual talent choice, Uther, DunkTrain, has gone for the Radiance talent, going for a wider and a further reach of that spell instead of Protective Shield. It's very nice to use on Cursed Hollow, probably the best map for it, as you can cancel the opponent from the tribute from much further and much more safely.
Yeah, it's a really cool pickup. I mean, especially if you have 2 melee on your team, I definitely think there's a lot of viability for that with Double Wars, but Snitch sneaks in and steals the Giants under the nose of Cloud9, just forced to back away, not knowing how many heroes were there attacking them.
Yeah, if you want it that badly, go ahead and take it, says Cloud9. It's pretty easy for them to clear up. Next tribute is going to be spawning in a favorable location for Team Dignitas.
Yeah, and they're really not far behind XP. This, again, like you said, on their side, just slightly in favor. And they do still have their full fortifications in the top lane. So one thing you have to really consider, do you have your well in that situation? At this point in the game, all the wells are still standing. Dignitas will be able to pick it up after a short while. I don't think Fan's going to be able to get the stall here. Just barely not getting in there for KingCaffeine.
Yeah, the positioning was too good for Dignitas off that tribute. They spawn. The first one is random. The second is a little bit less random, and the third becomes more predictable. There's some kind of pattern which I won't bore you with, but that was a good location for Team Dignitas. And the Vile Nest from Abathur, from adrd, are really coming into play here, providing a 50% slow for 4 seconds on any intrepid adventurer that stumbles upon them. And that buys a lot of time for Team Dignitas to capture that tribute.
Yeah, in the event you step out of mine, not only does it give the enemy team vision of you, but Zeratul might be lurking in the shadows. And that could just be a disastrous situation.
Very scary. Zeratul even went for Regeneration Master and First Aid, not going with the usual follow-through, sacrificing some damage for much more self-sustenance.
I love the fact that Cloud9 is realizing they're spending Abathur to split soak, and they're abusing that fact. They're just always taking the opportunity to push in these situations, even having 2 heroes, Sonya and Murden. A lot of damage will go down to this top lane, really putting them in a nice spot for level 10.
Nice dodge there by the Tassadar, dodging that gravity lapse. Yeah, Team Dignitas has been on the warpath. They've been going around as 3 or 4, letting Abathur soak 1 or 2 lanes, and sometimes they get away with it. But I feel like, Jake, Cloud9 has upped their anti-Abathur game, putting a lot of pressure and taking down towers.
I mean, the Tassadar pick alone has made quite the difference, just giving you vision of all those mines. And it's a situation where you have heroics versus no heroics. Dignitas has no choice but to give up that tribute.
Caffeine getting slowed down on this ascent to the top. Levels are equalizing as adrd is soaking this lane here. Next tribute will be a curse point for Team Cloud9. However, level 10 will be reached on both sides, so heroics will be up.
Yeah, but looking at the Cloud9 heroics, Force Wall plus Mighty Gust, this is an insane amount of control. These very close, narrow hallways that exist on Cursed Hollow can make some ridiculous plays possible.
Yeah, very reminiscent of the Butcher Falstad play, where you try and keep someone in place and then blowing other people away. A lot of battlefield control, and we'll probably see that coming into play in just 20-30 seconds or so when the next tribute is coming up.
Yeah, but Dignitas, they have Void Prison. It's a great response to those kind of setups. So there's going to be a fine line between the control of the battlefields and who's able to use their heroics most effectively in this situation. Big push going down. Next tribute not too far off, but it is Curse Point for Cloud9.
It's the little things that matter. So cool what Fang was doing there. He was taking all of the Phoenix shots, putting a shield on himself, making the Phoenix's goal miss. The Phoenix was cast to clear the middle lane quicker, but all of the shots missed because of Fang's play and understanding of the artificial intelligence of these units. So lots a bit of time there.
Yeah, the Phoenix will always prioritize the heroes over structures or minions. So nice. Wow, we already seeing that talent paying off, stalling out Bakery's channel of that tribute. This again is Curse Point for Cloud9, so they want it and they want it bad. Whoa! A nice PP to stay alive. Dream gets the Divine Shield and is now turning back in. Mighty God's putting adrd into a weird spot, but of course that is just the Aether clone, and the tribute is successfully channeled by Dignitas.
Still a little bit of a win for Team Cloud9 there. The pressure that Keiwan Pro with Falstad was putting on Zeratul, and I think he's chasing him again in middle lane. Okay, that's the end of that. Forced a Void Prism in a way that you never want to use it in a 1v1 duel. Even though Snitch went for a full survivability build, going for first aid and regeneration mastery, he still had to use it by himself. And I wonder if that's because of that level 4 talent by Keiwan Pro, putting more damage on him than otherwise would happen.
I mean, if you're trying to stay in the battle, I mean, it's just going to hurt more and more with each consecutive charge. So it's a really cool style of Falstad that I'd love to see, you know, just advance in popularity, because so far I'm loving it.
I've been saying that not build is bad. I'm going to take it back. I'm wrong sometimes.
All right, fair enough. Well, Falstad continuing to keep that global soak Cloud9 very close to level 13. That's why you see they're just continuing to be in the face of Dignitas as often as possible. Falstad, after he clears the wave, always just backs away to make sure he is not really vulnerable to any kind of rotations.
We see Sonya grabbing the Siege Giants. I wonder if she has enough time. She seems to think so. No, he's gonna abandon that. The tribute is calling anyone that gets this.
Falstad in the bottom lane. Arthas right now. He is in a bit of a chance. He does just barely fly away. First aid keeping him alive, so he spent that ability, spent his fly. He will not be present for this next tribute, but Cloud9 is already in position. They'll get a curse. Dignitas trading out for a boss.
Yeah, curse has been cast. The blue team will be cursed. None of their forts will have any defensive capabilities whatsoever. Their minions are going to die in just a single hit.
And Cloud9, they're working on a boss themselves, but Dignitas, I believe they'll be able to get there in time to try to fight this back. They do have that boss push in the bottom, but they're waiting too long.
Yeah, this boss has been taken. It's a boss apiece with a curse in favor of Cloud9. They're now going to start to push to the top there. If they can take down this fort before the boss even gets there, the boss will go all the way to the keep by himself, and that gives Cloud9 a chance to attack a different location. They're already starting to work on that with 3 heroes in the middle.
Yeah, just note the way that they're splitting up their heroes too. Falstad and Muradin, the two most mobile, 2 heroes that have the best escape on their team. They're putting them up alone in the top lane while the rest of the team is pushing down that middle fort. They really want to make sure they take out as many structures as humanly possible during this curse.
Now, we've seen curses where only 0 forts get taken down, or 1, sometimes all 3, and getting 2 is definitely on the higher end of the scale. Getting that middle fort now, probably not the bottom, and that's thanks to the boss. Too much pressure here.
Definitely a good curse there for Cloud9. They got the 2 forts. They defended a boss, just losing the single fort here in the bottom. Yeah, the final punch does take it out, but Dignitas, they are far from out of this, only down 1 level right now.
Right, and they still have that late game hero Abathur. We haven't seen our Lord of Kael'thas level 13 power spike coming in yet, where he picks up that chain bomb, and at that moment it's going to be a lot harder for Cloud9 to position themselves, as every living torch of a hero can pass that chain bomb to their allies and spreading around massive amounts of damage. So we see the power spikes hitting here for Team Dignitas, but momentum and playstyle has still been favoring Cloud9 until this moment.
Yeah, so far so good. Falstad once again getting a bit aggressive as he gets eyes on the opposing team in the mid lane. If they slip into the shadows, he'll be a little bit more passive, but once the team reconfirms they're in the middle, he's happy to do that damage to the final remaining fort.
Just 1 little inch away from level 16. Let's see the talent picks there for Cloud9. It's going to give them a huge power spike.
This is arguably the 2nd strongest talents you can get next to, of course, your heroics and then your level 20 storm talents. And this momentum that they can have at level 16 with a full, level window, they can make a lot happen, but doesn't look like they want to do anything other than eliminate that last fort.
Yeah, they want to use that with the fort. They'll be happy if there is a measure of defense by Dignitas. They'll happily take that fight, but at least they're going to get that fort. We see the hammer throw, the hammer time talent by Falstad. He will have a 0.75 second stun if he hits someone after using his power throw ability.
But Dignitas, they're all going back to base. Harthing with the pressure there in the bottom lane on that bottom keep. Cloud9 will successfully take up the wall and just calmly back away. A nice play by Cloud9.
We see none of the wacky play by Cloud9 that they showed in the BlizzCon opening week just 1 week ago, where they continually made it scary for themselves.
That is flying up here to the top. Athero taking a lot of damage from Caffeine, but no, they opt to back away. The Abathur had the mines in that area. They realize a bit of a risk, and Caffeine, engaged upon by Snitch, does manage to dwarf toss away.
Uther still at the bottom lane, DunkTrain getting as much experience as possible there. At this point, we're starting to see this as a race to level 20. Whoever gets there first gets some of the most powerful abilities in Storm tier talents.
A nice force wall, but now we see Fan all alone right now. The team is
DunkTrain.
Falstad cannot fly down here. This is a 3v5, and Cloud9 is just running.
DunkTrain seems to be able to get away. He dodged that Howling Blast very nicely. And Fan with the force wall disengage.
The fact that they chased meant they weren't channeling the tribute. That would be a curse for Dignitas if they managed to pick it up. But Cloud9 has been able to recuperate, get back into position. Falstad flew to the left side, looking for after moves, and uses that clone at the last moment.
Nice move by KingCaffeine coming from the back there with the Stormbolt. They're really chaining their abilities together nicely. Oh, Divine Shield has been used.
Yeah, pretty early in that fight. Fan taking a fair amount of damage, secluded from his team. They need to make something happen. After clone about to wear off, and Tassadar is getting pushed to the left side.
Oh, Tassadar, he's singled out, he's isolated.
But this means that there's 2 heroes for Dignitas not in this fight. Gonna be hard to stall this out. Tassadar taking a lot of damage himself on the left side, but it's still buying a lot of time with Snitch and Abathur occupied.
Oh, and it looks like it will actually be Cloud9 who picks up the tribute.
They deny the curse for Dignitas. They might end up defending Tassadar. Does he have force wall? Yes, he does. And he manages to slip away.
With the Breshans getting away. In the den of the lion, Jake.
Beautiful play by Fan. He kept them chasing him for so long, it was all about stall tactics. We saw that exact type of play versus DK, but their whole composition was designed around that. Why not just try one hero to force 2 heroes to focus on eliminating you? Tassadar is the best hero in the game at doing that.
Incredible. What a troll, Fan. Such mastery of this hero as he goes deep behind enemy lines and sees his way out and capturing the tribute in the process for his team. A true MVP moment there.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, next level plays being made here at the World Championships. Snitch has to blink out of there after putting himself in a bit of a forward position there, but no one ends up going down in that exchange.
And as the dust clears from that capture of the tribute, a lot of yellow spots are starting to appear on the maps. There are mercaps that are available for capture. iDream has started with the Siege Shine, is starting to get the Bruiser, and we'll see a Bruiser apiece for Dignitas as well.
I mean, they're really just starting to grab those mercenaries, trying to get that pressure across the battleground for this tribute, which is spawning in just 5 seconds. Again, this is curse point for Dignitas, and they desperately need to pick up a curse to catch up an experience for level 20.
Snitch has been stunned out of the ability to use Wormhole there. No follow-up threat just yet as everything starts to break loose.
Bakery was so close, Fan slips away himself. Again, very low prescience has been used, so now Tassadar is quite vulnerable, and Zeratul picks him off. Snitch with the play. It is now a 4v5, and Cloud9 has no choice but to give up this tribute, and that will be a curse for Team Dignitas.
The first curse for Team Dignitas. They're starting to ride the momentum here of being in a 5 versus 4 situation. Zarmony out for blood, trying to chase iDream there. Note that none of the defensive structures will be attacking. Zarmony now isolated. Tanky enough probably to be able to shrug this up until help comes. Army of the Dead.
Well, yeah, but Bakery's there. He has Divine Palm if needed, and they don't have eyes on the rest of the team, so they're being a little bit passive. But what they're doing is making sure that Team Dignitas can't go for a boss right now. That's exactly what Cloud9 wants to stop. Any kind of momentum train by picking up 2 bosses with a curse is the last thing that want to happen. Beautiful Mighty Gust, just forcing them off of that fort, stalling even longer.
Exactly, that's what Cloud9 is doing here, just buying as much time as possible. If they can survive this curse without losing a keep or giving away a boss, that would be a huge success success for Cloud9 despite giving away the curse.
Yeah, but they did give away their experience late. Dignitas just passing them in this moment right now, and Dig is marching into these middle forts, middle towers, taking them out, which will put them so very close to level 20.
Ah, there it is, level 20 Storm tier talents are being picked. We've got the Hardened Shield coming out for Arthas, Rewind for Zeratul. We've got the Hive Mind for Abathur, which gives him 2 symbiote hats. And finally, Calm Repose for Karazim, which gives him an attempt at doing Divine Palm every 5 seconds.
You can just spam it.
Yeah.
All right, well, Cloud9 very close to 20 themselves, going to grab their Storm Talents. This means it is not safe for either team to go for a risky boss. Once again, Abathur Mind's really providing so much vision. Fandom's actually just clearing them out.
K1 Pro. K1 Pro, he's alone.
Oh, Tassadar, or excuse me, Zeratul flies in. A nice Mighty Gust going out, buying time. And Dream Caffeine, they're flanking from the bottom, looking for a lot of damage. They find a Athero in the back line. Force Ball going off the bottom. Fandom is actually infected by it the most, but adrd, the clone, will end up going down very soon here. So that's just the after clone gone. Now he'll switch to using his hat for his allies. Cloud9 realize they do have a heroic advantage.
Cloud9 in hot pursuit. Toxic Nest slowing their pursuit here as we have an attempted disengage from Team Dignitas, who are nonetheless hesitant to give away the stage to Cloud9 as a boss will be the grand prize.
Force Wall secludes Zarmony, and a lot of damage is being thrown out onto him. But of course, Divine Palm is still a big factor in this fight. Zeratul blicks the immediate stun onto Snitch, but no, it's going to be Caffeine getting very low. Mighty Gust does save him, and Snitch will end up falling in this fight. Now Caffeine getting that additional heal with the trade. Fawcett flying into battle. The slow from the...
Oh, the Force Wall!
Force Wall goes down, and KingCaffeine in the back will manage to get out just barely. Divine Shield is cast on Sonya, and he shreds through Uther, but no, it's Bakery, the one that's still standing for the supports. Healing isn't enough. The shield's coming up, the ghost of Uther, keeping the team alive. The exchange is just too close.
Wow, Snitch dead there in the aftermath. Uther has perished as well, but should he not be coming back? He has redemption. He's not coming back.
Yeah, no redemption going off there.
Maybe he picked it too late, or it was down. I do apologize, not understanding what happened there. But it's 1 down apiece. No bosses were taken. I thought Dignitas was in for a disaster of their lifetime here, Jake. But it is just a 1-for-1. They defended the boss successfully and are now starting to make a move for their own boss. But Fan says, no, thank you. I'm going to delay you from that. With the Force Wall, the Oracle is going to mount up and try and stay near and prevent that from happening. Snitch is back. DunkTrain is still 10 seconds out.
DunkTrain's parents really tense in this moment. You can see them watching from the crowd, realizing how epic this game truly is. 1 tribute to 0 in favor of Cloud9 fan, continuing to stall. But if Dignitas, I mean, they have to go back up from 0. They're at 0 to 3, so they need 3 more tributes before they have another curse. So really giving that up, not a big deal.
Right. DunkTrain wasn't there yet, so no risky plays could be made. Now they're a team again, and it feels good, man. It's a 5 versus 5 again. Once again, iDream going on the camp.
Oh,
Fan taking lots of damage.
Way too much damage there. Needs to back away. Team has to regroup and look for a fight. 21 to 21, dead even, and we are just about 21 minutes into this game.
What a coincidence. 3 keeps apiece still. This is the grand finals match that we have been hoping for. It is very tense here. We don't have an overabundance of kills, just 3 versus 2 takedowns thus far. But that just goes to show how evenly matched these 2 teams are, even as Cloud9 has a 1-0 lead.
It's like looking at a mirror. At the same moment, they both start working on their bosses respectively. Dead even right now. I mean, the topless level play, we couldn't ask for a greater grand finals.
Very much so, and they captured at the exact same time. And what are they gonna do? More camps, defend the boss, push with it. There are so many options that I'm getting a headache just thinking about it. For now, it looks like both teams will play it safe. There's too much at stake. Grand Champion will win $200,000 and the title to call themselves the world's first best Heroes of the Storm team ever.
Okay, the next tribute has spawned, this time a bit in favor of Team Dignitas. So defending in the top, Abathur actually going up forward. adrd will be able to channel that safely as Cloud9 is in fact back at home, taking care of that boss. Fallside flying in, just in time. adrd does just barely get away. Mighty Gust, not quite enough. The beautiful evolution there, keeping him alive for the moment.
Oh my god, what just happened there?
When the clone dies, Abathur will return to that exact spot. They're pinging it right now, right next to the tribute. So Cloud9, they want to maintain a forward position. Force wall is thrown out. This is a tense moment for both teams. The clone is getting low, blinking away, back in, it's down. Abathur does end up falling in this battle very quickly. Zarmony in the front line, a bit secluded. The damage from Sonya is so high, but the Army of the Dead and Hardened Shield is keeping up, and Void Prison locking down 3 members. Mighty Gust still not ready for 3 seconds. They need that for the next play. If they can seclude them down into this little hole, no, they force Falstad back.
It's a 2-0 kill here for Cloud9 as they're in pursuit. They're out for blood. We don't have Arcane Barrier anymore. We don't have Bolt of the Storm on Atheroangel. They're waiting up to Divine Bomb.
They went off and Athero falls down, and Kerosene is incredibly low himself. Bakery just trying to slip back into his base, but I don't know if it matters. 3 heroes down to the 5 of Cloud9. It looks like they're going to try to end it here.
Is this the moment where 2 stood against 5 and stood victorious, or is it what it looks like that Cloud9 will get the core? They are banging on that core. They want it down.
All right, Cloud9, they're knocking on the door, but they're not getting over-aggressive. They realize they want to make sure they don't lose here. Bakery throws Divine Palm, will go off, but can he survive another onslaught from these 5? The core dropping down to 70% of its health. To iDream popping that Hardened Shield. I think they have done it, buddy. Cloud9 will go up 2-0 in this best of 5 grand finals at the Heroes of the Score World Championship. What a game to Cloud9, sitting 1 game away from claiming that title, claiming that trophy with impeccable play, Falstad in both games. I don't know what else to say.
Relief on the face of Mrs. Arabian as her son is just 1 map away from taking a 3-0 victory here with his team Cloud9, the American hopefuls, and this is just, it's an amazing finals. I'm out of words.
That's okay, I'll take care of you guys right here.
Thanks, Scooby.
All right, so a couple things to really point out. We looked at this draft initially when we saw it, and you know, Jake, you didn't give me a chance to answer who I thought was going to win.
Calling me out.
But honestly, I would have told you Dignitas. They got all of their picks. You take a look at the 3 heroes that they feel so comfortable on: Abathur, Karazim, and Kael'thas. They got all 3 of them. Now, they did do a little bit of swapping around who was playing what hero. You know, Athero was actually on the Kael'thas, which is a little bit different for the team. So perhaps that had a bit of a factor into it, but really, it was about the Falstad play, right? We saw it in the last game, not even using any kind of Butcher combination with this, but really just showing the mobility. So the big deal that I want to highlight for our Windows 10 game DVR replay is this K1 Pro Falstad style play. This is actually one of the more interesting fights that we see. I want you guys to take note of Zeratul position. That's Snitch playing Zeratul. Now look how far forward he is. He knows that he has the support of his team. They're rushing in to make this style of play. The big thing, another thing to look at here also is Caffeine. He's actually going to be seeing a lot of pressure because the rest of the team's moving in. They know they have Zeratul really far forward. This is where K1 Pro shines. We're going to advance this just a little bit, and he is going to make an amazing Mighty Gust play. Look at this positioning, really just blowing the entire team back, buying time for the heal to get in for Muradin, and he's able to get out. Now, on top of this, we see the fight advance just a little bit more after this. Snitch ends up getting taken down because he was so over-aggressive, the rest of the team, but then we see the Epic Mount is able to fly forward, apply additional pressure. This is really clutch Falstad play. And we also had this really awesome play to fly up with the extra speed from the Epic Mount, hammer time, being able to throw the stun out, and they knew that if they were able to stall out that fight long enough, Abathur, because he had to use that ultimate evolution, would pop up in that same spot. They were able to take him down. That's no Abathur hat, no Hive Mind in that last fight. Really, really amazing play.
You know, big props to adrd for using Ultimate Evolution so quickly, because that snap call was rather impressive, but Cloud9, they knew exactly what was happening. Abathur would return to that spot, and I actually didn't see Abathur die. He actually, like the moment the Ultimate Evolution fell, his body just evaporated.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Falstad used his Thunder Strikes actually to finish him off, and there was like a glimmer of hope that Bakery would use his Karazim play to do a Divine Palm on Abathur, but like, did he miss it, or did he judge it's not worth it? Because like, what's Abathur gonna do?
Can you do that again? Can you do the slaps? All right, well, that was quite an epic game, but we're not done yet. But before we go to a commercial break, we want you all to head on over to BlizzCon.com, where you can find out all of the epic news and epic info about this entire event, because it's more than just a Heroes Tournament. I mean, this is a celebration of the best games in the world, am I right?
Yeah.
No, come on, give me that again. BlizzCon, this is BlizzCon!
There we go.
Alrighty, guys, we're gonna set up game number 3. We'll be back in just a bit.
I think one of our other strongest points is that all of our players have pocket picks. I obviously play Monk a lot, we have Stitzes and Chen on Athero, we have Asmodan on adrd, and having those kind of versatile picks really gives us a boost in our drafting.
A lot of people will be prepping for us from our Prague performance, but we've changed a lot of our playstyle since Prague, picking a couple of different heroes.
Going into this tournament, our form has been a lot better and we feel a lot more comfortable playing on stage now.
If we come to the games with the right mindset,
Knowing what we want to play before we come into the game and focusing on getting that.
we shouldn't have problems with any teams.
When we get really far ahead in games, we have a tendency to try to do very ridiculous plays. I'm not gonna make that noise though, so I'm not gonna be able to explain it. I'm not gonna do that on camera.
Whenever our team gets ahead in scrims, by 2 or more levels, we tend to start trolling. And one funny moment that came out of that was that, instead of communicating, someone just shouted go, and then everyone just started yelling literally random gibberish. We ended up 5-0ing them or winning it very decisively with absolutely no communication.
Alrighty, guys, welcome back here to the Heroes of the Storm Grand Finals between Team Dignitas and Cloud9. My name is Solid Jake. I'm joined and honored to be at the desk with Grubby and Kubi. And this has been some of the best games we have ever seen, period.
Yeah, and it's really the innovation that is striking me as so awesome. We knew that we were going to see some weird stuff at BlizzCon. We knew the teams were saving some interesting strategies, but this has really blown everything out of the water for my expectations, and it's really just got me so hyped up.
Yeah, we saw that Falstad play, which so far looked like Europe's prerogative there, with Team Navi and Dignitas playing it very much. But now we see that coming out from Cloud9. They've shown that they can steal Karazim play as well. And they've also showed Murky play. I mean, come on.
Like how you downplay a little bit, like Murky play, it's whatever.
No, Murky. So let's talk about Dignitas in more particular, right? They're known for Tyrael, they're known for Karazim, and they've been getting some of their picks. Obviously, Tyrael's been banned twice, but they've been getting a lot of comfort picks for them. It hasn't been enough. Obviously, it hasn't.
Yeah, that was really the big thing that I wanted to bring up about that last draft that we saw. They got everything they wanted, maybe with the exception of Tyrael, but they're not going to get it. Cloud9 will just simply ban it out every single time for their first ban. They need something very different for this game that has their back up against the wall.
So literally here on the largest stage in the world, do you just throw out a new composition that's unpracticed? Do you just try to throw your opponent off? What is the best way to approach this kind of thing, Robbie? I mean, you've been a pro player for a long time.
Yeah, I think at this point, Team Dignitas could do something crazy, but they would have really bad memories looking back at a tournament where they're behind 0-2, and then would use the last game of the tournament of the BlizzCon World Championships to do something which they don't have a lot of confidence in. They're just like, let's hope that this works. So my advice for them would be to play what they're comfortable with, even though Tyrael has been taken away repeatedly, and that seems to be a large part of their core strength. Continue to play what you're comfortable with. Notably, last game we had Atheroangel playing on Kel'Thas. We saw a number of quite important gravity lapses missing. Atheroangel, if you're not familiar, is usually playing a warrior. He's still got a number of heroes that he could be playing. It could be Chen, it could be another warrior. Go back to what you're comfortable with and hope that it is your opponent that crumbles under the pressure. Oh my god, 2-0, we're nearly there. And just try and have them make the mistakes.
Alrighty, guys. Well, without any further delay, we are ready for the third draft of this matchup. So let's hop on into it. Cloud9 versus Team Dignitas on Garden of Terror.
Garden of Terror strikes terror into my soul because of what we saw yesterday.
Lost Vikings.
Yeah, Lost Vikings. And I wonder actually how much of an impact that will have on this draft. Now, that is something perhaps a bit more of a DK style thing, but the potential of it is very real.
Yeah, that's just something we'll keep in our minds. Vikings may make their entrance. We don't know if it's going to be a ban or a pick, but we're setting the stage for that. Tyrael once again being removed by Cloud9.
If there are two heroes Cloud9 hates fighting, it's Abathur and the Lost Vikings. They do not like dealing with that big split soak power. So, Dignitas bringing them to this battleground, I think that is very intelligent.
All right, it's going to be a Muradin pick here for Team Dignitas. That's their first pick.
Interesting.
And Cloud9 has been having Muradin a lot in the recent games, so they're taking that away. If anything, they want to change the cadence of the game a little bit.
So this, I wonder how quickly they're going to try to snap up Leoric. I feel like that, you know, either of those two heroes is really what Caffeine feels so comfortable on. Are they worried about those two heroes residing on the same team for Dignitas? And how quickly will they snatch up that Leoric?
Now, this is one of the battlegrounds where you can see some of the craziest compositions, because even if you have a hero that may not 100% fit team fights in every situation, it's going to be Abathur.
I mean, this is a hero that Fang is quite good with, and if you're worried about playing against it, bust it out yourself. But thinking back to the semifinals, we saw an unkillable composition, and they're putting the threat of that on the board by picking up Abathur.
This could be Murky again.
Yeah. Murky, Tassadar, Leoric, all those heroes work very well in those style of plays, but it's still by no means implied just by picking that up. They've just already shown it, so the threat has to exist in the mind of Dignitas.
I'm assuming that this is a strategy that forms like a tree with different branches coming out of it. Murky is just one branch, a rather low-hanging branch, but there's many other directions that they can be going for.
Yeah, okay, so they're going to grab Uther just to take that really safe support pick. The Divine Shield obviously has been making a lot of plays. A very, very solid support, but this also can reinforce a different branch, like you were talking about, Grubby, in that of a melee assassin. We haven't seen a whole lot of that yet so far in BlizzCon, with the exception perhaps of Zeratul, but the option is also there.
It could be a return of Fang's Illidan play, something that he used with his team in Heroes of the Dorm, April this year, winning the Heroes of the Dorm Championship. Lots of Illidan play there, combined super well with Abathur and Uther.
Well, we'll have to find out. Team Dignitas get the next two picks in this draft. They currently have Muradin. Now, it's pretty baseline. Kael'thas, another very strong hero to pair with Muradin. Tyrande also excels in having just the follow-ups, the stunts. Hunter's Mark, very good for those early game takedowns, especially if you can predict the positioning of your enemy team going for those seeds.
Think a Balog! And his buddies, Eric and Olaf, the Lost Vikings, put one into the Plant Terror, and the other two can still be doing their job of soaking experience.
I was actually at the coffee shop this morning, and I saw a guy cosplaying as Eric, and I asked him, I was like, where's Olaf and Balog? He's like, they're split soaking right now.
He knows. He knows.
But here we see them in the longboat raid. If all three are together, they can go into a boat and do a lot of damage over time.
Yes, it's actually quite a bit of range to it as well. It's been slightly tweaked in some of the most recent patches, but has much more duration now. So if they can draw team fights out and have that consistent damage output, it will be a strong asset to the team.
I wonder if they'll go for Sylvanas as well. Vikings and Sylvanas, one of the best combinations of heroes in the game. Soak two lanes with a minimum amount of heroes present and go with a strong four-man push in another lane, using the trait of Sylvanas' Black Arrow to disable enemy fortifications. No, it's going to be that Kael'thas Muradin combination with the stunts at range and melee.
It's just a lot of damage and a lot of opportunity. You land that one Stormbolt, the Gravity Lapse follow-up, it's not that hard to land, and then a lot of the time it's just enough to pick up those early game kills.
Okay, what are the bans going to be for Cloud9? Do we see the removal of Kharazim? Now, if you take a look at the level 16 talent, I believe it's Circle of Life for Kharazim. That amplifies the amount of damage or healing that it does based on the amount of targets. Well, if you have a lot of Vikings around, you're going to get even more healing, a lot more sustained throughout those fights.
Looks like it's going to warrant the ban. A nice play there by Cloud9. Dignitas, what are they most worried about here? I mean, obviously, some strong warrior picks exist. Cloud9 have not picked up one. You think it's
Sonya?
Sonya or ETC maybe?
Sonya, ETC, Kerrigan, Butcher, Illidan. Maybe one of those 5.
Okay. Well, we'll have to find out. Kubi, what are your thoughts?
I think either. I mean, there's so many options that Cloud9 has put on the table throughout the duration of this event. No, it's actually going to be Zeratul in this case.
Of course. Zeratul so good at killing individual Vikings before they can run away.
Something that was actually very prevalent in that Braveheart versus DK game we saw on Garden of Terror.
Right.
There was a Zeratul present that was constantly sniping out those Vikings.
Okay, Cloud9, once again, if you're just tuning in, they're sitting up 2-0 in this best of 5 grand finals. 1 game away for stealing that trophy. The next 2 picks are theirs. Thinking about it, I mean, this is a tough order. You're looking at Vikings. How can we best punish that? Do you think we'll see Falstad for a 3rd game in a row?
I don't think it's a bad idea. Falstad is another hero that's really good at taking out Vikings. Flying towards them, using his abilities, is pretty much a guaranteed kill. He's got the bonus movement speed if he doesn't get attacked. But for now, it's going to be Sonya.
Okay, there's one of those, and that is actually a great target to have the Abathur symbiote ability on. Not a bad choice for copying either with that ultimate evolution. We could also see Arthas enter the mix if they're not going to go for anything too crazy based on what we've seen. Okay, it is going to be that Leoric.
The Bruiser buddies, Sonya Leoric, that is a devastating front line. And when it comes to level 20, when you have Hive Mind on Abathur, if you opt to play that way, it is just so hard to shake that off.
Now, I think Team Dignitas is not too disappointed about the Kerosene play. With a hero like Lost Vikings, I really like Malfurion to be paired with them. Oftentimes, you see Vikings take the entire responsibility of soaking. Oh, it's actually going to be
No, but your
Brightwing.
point still stands, I think, with a lot of AoE healing.
Right. You have a lot of area of effect healing for 7 effective bodies. Brightwing has the same thing as well, and they'll just be trying to travel around together, trying to get kills. Murdin and Kel'Thas leading the charge. Brightwing can jump on top of that, and ETC right through the opponent like a bus. Okay.
This could actually be a stage dive game. Now, as uncommon as it might seem, having global presence, you can be a Brightwing bomb where he stage dives in, Brightwing phase shifts with him. Global presence, very powerful in those situations.
On top of what we already have with the Vikings being able to soak around the map. You're right, and especially on a battleground where taking that objective is quite impactful. They have set themselves up to be quite a bit of a nuisance, if you will. There's 1 pick left on the side for Cloud9. They already have a support, multiple warriors. It's going to be some damage, but what? In the form of Vala. All right.
Just a standard, safe, powerful pick. The vanilla Vala, the original assassin when it comes to competitive Heroes of the Storm. Everyone just immediately fell in love with her, and she has been seen throughout every single patch in this game.
Yeah, she really pairs together well with a team like this, where you have a frontline that's very mobile, like Sonya and Leoric, having movement speed through either Wraithwalk or the trait of Sonya, and Vala can chase very easily with her trait of Hatred, also bonus movement speed. And she can pretty much take care of herself. Uther, his main job is to be healing Sonya, and Vala has to fend for herself. So escapability is very key here, and she fits the comp well.
Kubi, we're going to game 3. We see the drafts. Who won the draft?
I got to give this one to Dignitas. Honestly, if they have enough control over Sonya, and then you're left with Vala as damage for the most part. Yes, Abathur is going to be able to pick up a little bit of slack here and there, but I really like the picks. They got their Kel'Thas once more. ETC is something that's been removed from their potential compositions many times throughout this tournament. They now have that. And with the surprise factor of the Lost Vikings, it feels like Dignitas does have something that can really form into a great thorn in Cloud9's side in this grand finals.
Grubby, do you agree? Does Dignitas have what it takes to bring it back?
I feel like in terms of draft, definitely Dignitas has won once again. With Vikings, the best map is Garden of Terror, and indeed, Cloud9's best assassin would have been, in order of priority, Kel'Thas, Jaina or Kel'Thas, maybe Sergeant Hammer, but she's a bit out of the meta, and then Vala is probably like the 3rd or 4th best pick. Jaina, Kel'Thas were not possible, so they lack a little bit of burst, and it looks like in terms of draft, Dignitas has won, but Cloud9 is just playing phenomenal tonight, and anything is possible.
So let's speak about styles, right? When you have all the Lost Vikings roaming around, Vala can play 3 different ways. Auto attack, Hungering Arrow, or multi-shot. Do you think it's more warranted to try to pick them off one at a time with Hungering Arrow, or go full multi-shot style just because of the splash damage?
So usually you're going for Hungering Arrow style builds in one of 2 situations. One where you want to go for a very flank heavy style and you really want to try to isolate, pick off someone that's in the backline, maybe not close to any of the other heroes on the team. If you guys aren't familiar, Hungering Arrow can bounce to different targets if they are close enough. It means you can't really control the damage output. The other situation is when you're up against melee assassins that might be trying to hunt you down, and you can grab that siphoning arrow to really sort of allow you to duel a little bit better. I don't think, you know, the latter is going to be the case here. I think it will probably also be a multi-shot style, mainly because you want to have that wave clear. That's a very large battleground, and also being able to take the seeds a little bit more quickly. I think we'll probably see that multi-shot style.
Well, we'll find out very soon, but we also want to find out exactly who you think will close this out. Will Dignitas bring it back, or will Cloud9 seal the deal? Head on over to Twitter, use the hashtag HeroesWC, and tweet at eSports Heroes. Crowd, who do you think will win? Let's hear for Cloud9. All right, Dignitas? Well, we're getting on in to game number 3 on Garden of Terror, and on the blue side, that is Team Dignitas. adrd will be playing as the Lost Vikings, Atheroangel on ETC, the Cowmaster himself, Bakery on Brightwing, Snitch playing Keiwan, and Zarmony on Muradin. Their opponents, Cloud9, with DunkTrain playing as Uther, Fang on Abathur, iDream playing Sonya, Keiwan Pro going to be on Vala, and KingCaffeine on his legendary Leoric. They're dancing, they're feeling good, they're one game away from being the world champions.
And Team Dignitas will try and stop them and try and equalize this. It is a tall order to rise to the challenge to try and come back from a 0-2 deficit, but it has been done before in esports. And it is the most damnedest feeling as the one who was ahead 2-0 to come back to a 2-3. Let's wait and see what happens. Toxic Nest starting to reveal the intentions here of Team Dignitas, and they will disperse to the top lane. All 3 Vikings notably going to the top lane for now.
Now, I just want to point something out. In the Americas Championship, Tempo Storm was up 2-0 versus Cloud9, and Cloud9 pulled out the reverse sweep. So this is something that is still very possible in Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah, comebacks are very definitely possible.
6.5 out of 10 though, right?
I'm so glad you said it. I almost, I didn't want to. So the Vikings are not splitting up yet, and you may wonder why. There used to be this cheese about 2 to 3 weeks after Vikings came out. You would put a Viking in the top lane, you would put one in the mid lane, and you would put one somewhere in between to try and cover the slack if anyone got taken out. And you would have an immediate push of 4 heroes upon the enemy tower. However, as cheeses usually do, they eventually get countered. And for now, we'll probably see a Viking split just as the first objective will spawn.
Oh, but a lot of damage there. DunkTrain taking critical damage. The Sturning Iron with a stun managed to get Zarmony very low. So a nice play there. Just good crisis control.
Yeah, nice save there by Abathur. And DunkTrain will be able to get out. Athero being zoned out by Sonya. First seeds going to Cloud9.
Yeah, so they actually put so much emphasis on trying to get a kill. They didn't succeed in doing so, and they had to then concede their position over these auxiliary camps, just collecting the 34 seeds in favor of Cloud9 right now.
Yes, exactly. Every move you make is an investment. You can always be doing a few different things. When you go for a kill and you don't get it, you're giving away something else. So every successful defense for Cloud9 is a small advantage.
All right, well, they're looking to engage upon Dignitas here. We're currently working on this bottom plant Terra. Caffeine in the front. We'll just get out of there with that Wraith Walk.
And Baylock with the explosive attacks will get taken out by Keiwan Pro. First blood.
He turned around just for one moment, and that's all it takes. This is, in fact, a multi-shot Vala build, so even without the Hungering Arrow build, it was able to get that early kill.
Abathur is getting tickled at the top lane by one of the Vikings. But he's not too afraid. He's got the Zipian and he will be driving Olaf off. In the meantime, the melee continues here in the bottom lane next to that plant. If all the seeds can be captured by Team Cloud9, they will be getting a plant terror very early on. Dignitas does not want that to happen.
52 to 28 at this point for the seed count. Cloud9 keeping up with the soak of the Lost Vikings. That is a crucial thing to think about. Usually when you see these strong up fights, it's unbeneficial, but the stun going out. DunkTrain gets secluded and blown up early in this fight. Athero, low himself, will be able to back away.
Yeah, the power slide face melt combination with the gravity lapse proved to be too much for DunkTrain. He will be coming back right here. He's on his way already. In the meantime, the battle of experience soaking continues between Abathur and the Lost Vikings.
Ooh, Eric does end up falling. Sonya gets a kill kill in the mid lane, so it's experience they could lose out on, but it's a lot of seeds dropping. KingCaffeine hit by the power slide. I don't know if he can get out of this one, Grubby. Very low, but the Abathur hat making a huge difference. Bakery, one hit away. Oh! Beautiful hit right there.
Keiwan Pro with the kills here, taking out 2 Vikings already and Brightwing as well. In the meantime, Sonya, iDream, he pays the price for his deep chase and will get taken out as well. A more even split now. It looks like the cake was taken more primarily by Team Dignitas, who now have a 55 versus 65. 60 seeds remain on the map, and they're congregated in that top plant terror.
Correct. I mean, every night phase awards 180 seeds, so only one team can get a Plantera for that first night guaranteed.
And they're starting to fight over that now. There's a very monomaniacal focus here on taking out those seeds, as there's just 2 heroes who can take care of all the XP by themselves. Fang gonna be thrown with bananas.
Bananas aren't enough to take out that slug today. He will be able to stay alive for the time being, but Cloud9, they're really posturing to take the rest of these seeds. They can see the seeds being collected. Dignitas should be responding. Brightwing has spaceships with global presence. They can leave that Viking in the bottom lane. Not crucial to have them for the situation, but they need that spaceship here and now. adrd will lose that Viking. No, just barely slipping out. Dream low himself. One more hit does go down.
iDream caught out by himself. Once again, that combination from ETC Kel'Thas, which is so powerful. Zarmony coming there with the backup support. The seeds go to Team Dignitas. Atheroangel gets away. KingCaffeine in hot pursuit.
But it's not enough damage. Athero will be able to escape the polymorph just in time. And now Caffeine is a bit far forward, trying to exchange here. Zarmony manages to get behind his wall. A nice stun, so Brightwing goes down. But it is still going to be a plant terror in favor of Team Dignitas.
Annoying little multi-shot there from Keiwan Pro, cancelling Atheroangel's ETC escape there, Hearthstone. And we do have seeds taken by Team Dignitas. Oh, a little bit of miscontrol there from Balok as iDream says, yes, thank you. I will take that free kill with relish. And now the Vikings are starting to portal back. That Balok couldn't move, by the way, because the other 2 were hard-stoning back for the plant, and he didn't want to have to cancel it. I guess he could have chosen to cancel it, but then the other 2 Vikings would not be able to take the plant yet. They would miss a little bit of timing.
Now, of course, that's one of the greatest powers of Lost Vikings here on Garden of Terror. The fact that you can throw just one of them into the driver's seat of the Terror, while the other 2 split, soak, or battle across the map.
Right. And they're starting to do just that now as the plant terror is pushing through the middle. iDream preventing with the help of that toxic nest.
New York does end up falling in the top lane. The Brightwing, Kel'Thas, and ETC, so still a nice trade here. It's losing a Viking and trading out Leoric, well worth it.
And now you see the power of the Vikings coming to into full effect, with Vikings soaking the bottom lane. iDream not happy with it, pushing with the Sonya at the bottom against that Viking. But we have a massive push coming in here. The plant terror is so healthy still. 50 seconds remain.
Yeah, you mentioned the bottom push. Balog did end up falling, so Sonya is pushing alone, trying to equalize this. 11-11. Both teams have picked up their heroics. This game, it's going to be March of the Black King instead of the Entomb, because of how much extra health you can get by hitting those extra bodies, the Lost Vikings.
Exactly. Fan there now on the evolution, doing a little bit of damage on Snitch there on the Kel'Thas. And the push continues. KingCaffeine taking a lot of heat here, using the Hardened Bones Wraith Walk to get away without taking lethal damage. Abathur in the middle, contesting the XP. There we go with the March of the Black King, going to full life.
Yeah, but in the strafe doing a fair amount of damage as well. Brightwing looking for that polymorph, not able to connect it. The Garden Terror did do more than enough damage and took out the top for it, but iDream able to trade that out effectively.
Yeah, really well done by Cloud9, using Sonya there in the bottom push to effectively achieve the same result as the Plant Terror did. And now look at that. For the next night, 4 seeds for Team Dignitas and 76 for Cloud9. Experience is equal, even though Vikings are supposed to be somewhat better at soaking XP than Abathur. I would say Cloud9 did very well in the first 8 minutes of this game.
Yeah, rather impressive just with the rotations, their ability to make sure they manage that soak accordingly against their opponents. It's really dead even, just like the last 2 games.
As the calm before the storm starts to happen here in this phase, they're starting to capture some mercenary camps, setting the stage for distractions, which can help to secure assassination gank attempts on the enemy heroes. Anytime someone is clearing a merc camp from the opponent, they're giving information to the opponent as to their whereabouts. And that gives them a lot of control on the map. Now Plant terrors are starting to spawn again here. Seeds up for the taking.
And they're just going to start collecting them in the top portion of the map. Now, 76 remaining after the first night phase. So Cloud9 are pretty much guaranteed a plant terror of their own. You can see it's already growing, but they don't want to give up the rest of the seeds that exist on the battleground. So you should see them just go down and pressure the side of Team Dignitas to try to deny a plant terror of their own. And adrd getting very low, ends up losing Eric in that situation. So one Viking down, Wraithwalk out for KingCaffeine, able to stay alive.
Yeah, he's so good on that Leoric, always knowing exactly when to use his Wraithwalk to get away and sacrificing himself when necessary. Planter has been taken by Sonya.
Yeah, but this is a situation where, honestly, they're not collecting any seeds, and by having a plant terror and forcing Dignitas to respond to you in any lane at all, it's a win because they're not collecting seeds.
Right, they could get all the next seeds. So KingCaffeine getting taken out here, will not have time to use his Wraithwalk, and that's a kill.
A beautiful play there by Dignitas, taking off KingCaffeine, but that's Leoric. He will respond much quicker than any of the other heroes on that team. So if there's anyone to lose, it's definitely Leoric. Bakery, phase shifting to the top part of the map. They want to make sure they can collect as many seeds as possible, just playing defensively and making sure Snitch does not end up falling here.
Yeah, this is a smart choice to take this plant at least, not focusing all their efforts on defense, because Cloud9 taking the bottom plant will have 69 seeds, and if they had taken the top as well, it would be one of those funny situations where you have double plants being taken by a single team during a night phase, and that's not something that Team Dignitas is want to have to go up against.
Now they're using the Garden Terror to try to buy time. iDream is just stalling as long as he can to deny them the pickup of terror of their own. That Garden Terror does just much more than out. They're looking for a fight. Polymorph goes off, but they're able to slip away. A beautiful power slide getting back, and again, we have to watch for that ping. Oh no, Keiwan's going down. The huge strike doing too much damage. Athero is going to fall as well. DunkTrain might fall here. No, they're backing away. The Vikings getting torn apart. The clone of Fang with that drain home. Not quite enough for the kill, but Zarmony, he is all alone in the back.
Yeah, the 5-mile race to take out Snitch there on the Kael'thas. That was a very long pursuit, ending in success, getting ETC as well. And there we go, Zarmony. Where are my friends?
KingCaffeine predicted exactly where the Dwarf Toss would go, and the Skeletal Swing seals the deal. Not only does Cloud9 deny the seeds, but they deny the plant terror that Dignitas would have picked up.
And more importantly also, they were falling behind in experience points as well. They were about half a level ahead. Now they're leading again, and we all know how important it is to get to level 20 before your opponent with those Storm tier talents. As of yet, a very eventful game, but still 5 force on Cloud9 side against 4 on Team Dignitas' side.
All right, several mercenary camps are available. Seeds 69 to 91. So there's quite a, it's quite even in that regard, but seriously, just one camp of those Shamblers will award a plant terror to Dignitas when the next night phase starts. adrd might lose Eric here, but no, the defense is there from Snitch and Zarmony.
In the meantime, in the middle, Uther and Vala starting to push in the middle there against ETC, Brightwing and Kael'thas. They need to be careful. Uther getting power slided. There we go with the face melt. Doesn't have the increased knockback though. At level 7 he took follow through to add more damage. Atheroangel did. Anytime after an ability, he will hit for bonus 40% damage with his auto attack.
Wow, a lot of damage taken by KingCaffeine there, but we see the clone of Fang going in. Balog falls early in the battle, but a huge mosh pit going off Divine Shield to try to free up iDream, but KingCaffeine will end up falling. We do see Longbow Raid expiring, Strafe doing critical damage, shredding through the low health bars of the Lost Vikings, and 2 of them have now fallen. Bakery Athero up by their wall, but no, it's Zarmony. The Ancient Spear connects, and heals from running, keeping him up. Slam does not connect, and Zarmony manages to slip away, but Bakery with Ice Block not going to be so lucky. Zarmony needs to step forward for the blink kill. No, Snitch is the one that's there in time, and Bakery manages to reverse somehow.
Wow, what an escape. The jigsaw puzzle fit together with that ice block, buying time for another charge of blink heal, and not going on the Murden, who was zoned out behind his own gate already, but instead help coming from the least expected side. Kael'thas on Snitch there, coming from the north side.
Beautiful play, just great teamwork. When you realize that your support's in a bad spot, Iceblock can buy the time you need for that blink heal charge to regenerate, and then you can just go to that ally slipping away. I can't believe you survived, and just very well played here by Dignitas.
Atheroangel not happy about this camp steal. Moving in, 1 versus 4. Not sure that's a good idea.
This is a tight spot to be in. Atheroangel will end up falling this time. And Cloud9, they are going to push down this top lane.
Now that was not a rational move to Siege Giant. Sure, they're nice, they're important, they're adding push power, but that was just pure emotion speaking. I said it already, not happy about that happening. And he moved in 1 versus 5.
No, Zarmony,
and this could be disastrous.
Yes, he has to dwarf toss away. If you get caught out here, they could look for a death push. Now, if you lose 1 hero, that's going to signal, just a little bit more aggression. But playing safely like they are, they will be able to survive.
All right, adrd pushing in there with that level 1 explosive attacks talent, doing double damage against everything that is not an enemy hero. Very cool picks on his talents as well on Olaf, going for the Burning Olaf at level 13 and Large and in Charge at 16, going for the 1 second stun every, I believe, 8 seconds or so when he uses his charge. So adding a little bit more control to the battlefield with his auto attack heroes.
Okay, the next night phase is here. Those seeds being picked up. We will see the plant terror grow on the side of Dignitas, but Cloud9 have a little bit more work to do. Just 1 more seed, and they'll pick that up here from this Garden Terror.
And there we go, plants growing for both teams. We have a half-level lead here for Team Cloud9, and they're also ahead 2 forts.
Half-level lead, but that's 19 to 20. So if there's any time to have a half-level lead, it is right now. Having the Storm Talents can give you those big windows to initiate on your opponents.
And are they going to do just that? They're not quite there yet. Top land is being taken. I can expect Team Dignitas to pull away really quickly. We've got a plant terror converging on their position. iDream moving in with the Sonya there, trying to buy time. Did he make a mistake?
Oh no, a beautiful mosh pit goes off. A Divine Shield is even better, getting Dream out of a bad spot. Now Zarmony is the one that has to dwarf toss away. Plant Terror has made its path clear. It wants blood, and it is marching forward towards Team Dignitas, currently clumped up in this little spot.
Oh, some very close moves there. Keiwan Pro coming in with the flank, with the multi-shot, with the frost shot, trying to slow them down. Then face melt being used to dodge the Hammer of Justice from Uther. They managed to do a getaway, but this is that moment you were talking about. Level 20 versus 19.7. That's a guaranteed keep, and who knows what happens after that.
It's going to be a hard defense. They do not have mosh pit. That's the best thing they can hope for, but this keep is falling like nothing. adrd trying to get the split push. I do not know if this is the right call. Now they're spending 1 Viking to do this. It means no longboat raid. They'll get a lot of damage done. They're actually sneaking by that Garden Terror in the bottom lane.
All right, it looks like Cloud9 is not happy about this plant terror pushing. If they can get a keep out of that, they want a Hearthstone. It's up to Team Dignitas now to try and either cancel a Hearthstone or say, okay, we'll just defend the plant. However, that would be a little bit risky. They can go and try and cancel a Hearthstone. They might be walking into a trap.
Ooh, a nice Queen's Curse from Caffeine, but the Gravity Lapse over the wall will stall him out. Of course, those stuns don't last quite as long on the massive objects like Plant Terrors and Dragon Knights.
All right, adrd's plan is getting taken down. 1 more Plant Terror overgrowth there, running away with Olaf, not using his go ability yet, which is his substitute for a mount. And KingCaffeine is like, well, I'm Leoric. Even if I die, it doesn't matter that much. I prefer to get a little bit more push power here.
That full Leoric, and yeah, it's going to tear through those towers. That's 1300 XP they just picked up. 20 to 20 at this point, so they do have their Storm Talents, but KingCaffeine is a bit alone right now. DunkTrain actually taking a lot of damage himself on the left side. This is a very spread out team fight, but the Lost Vikings will be the ones that get shredded apart.
When the boat gets killed before its duration, every Viking will be stunned. So they were pretty much ducks in a barrel, and that's a full hero kill here for Team Cloud9. As it's a 5 versus 4, Abathur pushing that top lane in. We've got 1 keep advantage already for Cloud9. Keep in mind, this is the match point. If Cloud9 takes this, they will crown themselves the BlizzCon World Championship.
They will not only be crowned the BlizzCon World Champions, they're the best team in the world at that point, Grubby.
That's what it means.
Yeah.
And they want to have the right to call themselves that. Team Dignitas, they're treading water right now.
They are.
They're trying to keep alive here and hoping for a miraculous comeback. Momentum is against them, both in the match score as well as the way this game is going.
But what they do have going for them is they still have 2 of their keeps, so it's far from over. They have the ability to soak well, but Zarmony, getting pressured heavily, does manage to dwarf toss away. Now, they just kind of want to stall out, wait for the next night phase, pick up that plant terror. They just had a decent trade in the bottom lane, doing a fair amount of damage, but in the end, the Vikings were pressured too much, and they all ended up dying.
And they're back now, half-life keep in the middle. We've got plants spawning again in about 10 seconds or so, and the mad scurry for the Easter eggs will continue once again as both teams will be trying to get as many as possible. We've got mercenary camp pushes in abundance for Team Cloud9. They have some of the best mercenary camp capping timings I've ever seen. And we've got 2 camps pushing in now. That's a bit of a concern there for Team Dignitas as they're trying to contend with these seeds.
Oh, a beautiful juke there by KingCaffeine, but he is pinned in the bottom, grabbing him, locking him in place, and he does get blown up here by Dignitas. This is the start of a night phase. So they are now 4v5 for, in theory, 55 seconds. Of course, Leoric cheats those rules, but this is a great spot for them to catch up in that seed count and grab themselves a Garden Terror.
Yeah, I do believe he has that Consume Vitality, which brings him back much quicker as well. He's about 30 seconds out or so, trying to stay near, giving vision. This is free scouting for Team Cloud9, and they're starting to move in. Where are they going? Are they going to go for a backstab? Snitch with the flank on his own team. They've cleared that plan. Plant will be coming out for both, and this is going to be one of the most impactful moments of the game thus far.
This is scary. We're looking at the 20-minute marker with plant terrors on both sides. Top lane completely pushed out with bruisers and catapults, forcing Dignitas to defend. This is Cloud9 signal to even up that seed count again, picking this up. Underneath that plant terror that's ready, they will have about 60 seeds each, and that's really going to set the stage going in to possibly the final push.
Yeah, there could be a final push, which is the second one, or this one could decide everything. There's a huge team fight emphasis as this is coming out.
They're stalling out the plant terror as long as they can. They know this plant terror is going to be used defensively. adrd not looking to make something happen, they're looking to survive.
And there we go, as we see this kind of wild, wild west. Who will draw their gun first as they're trying to go for a show-off. Not wanting to move on too quickly, too rapidly, because that Spore Queen's Curse polymorphs anyone for 2.5 seconds. Eric!
Yeah,
got taken down for now.
One Viking down, one Viking in the terror. And Balog roaming around the back lines almost just as a scouting ward. A huge wave of minions in the bottom. Abathur gonna put the pressure there. The longer they stall, this is gonna be massive damage under this middle keep, and Abathur doing a lot in the bottom as well.
Pushing in here, 30% life left on that keep. The tension is too high.
Murden keeps trying to go down to the bottom lane to try to clean up that wave, but he's just not afforded the opportunity to do that. Mid-keep, again, Overgrowth is just doing enough. Even if they destroy it immediately, it's gonna do a little bit of damage, and they still have 45 seconds on the duration of this terror.
Yeah, we've got Bakery taking that role now, defending with Brightwing, thinking he can pop in anytime when needed. And keep in mind, there's a few seconds delay, so he can't wait too long with that. Keep goes down.
The middle keep has fallen. 2 keeps down on the side of Dignitas. Cloud9 can almost taste victory, but they still need to be cautious here. If they lose a team fight, it could spell disaster for them.
Fan there, sneaky Abathur pushing from the top as well. Starting to pop in now with the symbiote on iDream.
Oh, the strafe, the polymorph goes off. Dream pops that Heart and Shield. Poly used once again, but they're not able to get it there. The Poly on him, not enough. iDream is quite low in the back, has to step away from the Queen's Curse. No one has fallen at this point. I do not believe it. And adrd in the front hits the Queen's Curse onto Mark, and KingCaffeine loses his life.
KingCaffeine was slaying those warriors. Atheroangel and Zarmony had to pull away from the combined onslaught of the backline, and as well as the Spectral Leech and the crushing hope that Leoric is putting out. He is a tank killer this game, but a nice disengage from Zarmony and Athero meant that they stayed alive. They took down KingCaffeine. He will be coming back soon, but this is giving some breathing room.
And yeah, they kept that keep alive, and that is like a huge, you know, weight off their shoulders. They still have one lane they don't have to worry about quite as much as the other two, and with Abathur on top of it, it is a huge pressure.
Very true. Now Cloud9 starting to push in here once again. KingCaffeine is back.
Okay, he's in the front, throwing out whatever he can, but the stuns seem plentiful. Zarmony backing away, straight hitting 3 members for almost its full duration, but it's not enough to really take anyone out.
KingCaffeine getting gravity lap, starting to run away there, taking a lot of damage, but he made his getaway. Zarmony moving in, stealing the cap. iDream, is he going to get caught here? Divine Shield is still available. Hardened Shield comes out.
Yeah, they're staying alive. We do see Ancient Spirit used defensively to just escape from the gravity lapse. Has been expended, did not connect, but KingCaffeine, he's a bit of a bad spot. Wraithwalk just barely getting him out. The living bomb not quite enough for the kill here, so they do survive. But Sonya and Abathur are collecting seeds. They're looking for another planetary. The moment they can get it, they're going to look for a death push, Grubby.
Uh-oh, iDream, he's by himself. Lured in hot pursuit.
Yeah,
Snitch coming in as well.
All right, we see Abathur has moved to the bottom. He's got that. iDream will, just barely trying to escape. Doesn't defunct. That's a big move for Dignitas, but they're still not out of harm's way yet. Still just 19 seed needed for Cloud9.
If the map is neutral and you take down Sonya, great. You're starting to push your advantage. 5 versus 4, looking for engagements. But this is not a neutral map. It's heavily dominated by Cloud9 with that Abathur, with all the Merc camps. And it's all Dignitas can do just to keep their head above the water. Starting to chase KingCaffeine now. Wraithwalk has been used. No, they don't want to waste their time. Starting to take down the plant. And a plant is coming out for Cloud9.
Yeah, the plant is ready and has just thrown. Abathur is pushing that top lane with the catapults. So that means they need to be very wary of the shield on their core because it will start to take damage if they don't defend. And KingCaffeine is going full Leorki style, pushing with these giants to take out the final remaining keep of Team Dignitas.
Now we see a delay in the capture of the plant terror in the home base of Cloud9. There's multiple reasons for it. One is they still want to capture some camps. 2, iDream on Sonya is still coming back.
What a risky place to start.
It's okay, he'll be back soon.
Just like a commercial break, KingCaffeine, he dies and he comes back after a short moment.
Yeah, I have a bit of a deja vu here, but you know what? It's working out. He's buying time. Abathur is still pushing in. Sonya now capturing the plant, and I do believe by the time that the plant will arrive, Leoric will be almost back again.
Well, Leoric, yeah, just about 15 seconds till he's back up. The timer lies to you. Don't read that. iDream is in his Planetara respectively trying to make something happen. Abathur pushing out that top lane. Lost Vikings going to try to scout him, but with the mercenaries making their way down, they will be thwarted in their approach. And Abathur has now repositioned to the bottom lane. Cloud9 looking to seal the deal and become the first champions, but this is going to be the hardest defense of Dignitas' life.
Oh, they're going for it. Planetara overgrowth. Disabling the core, doing damage. KingCaffeine hitting it with all he's got.
And they're starting to hammer away the mosh pit, connecting on 3 targets, but there is no follow-up. DunkTrain gets polymorph. The blow-up is just barely enough, but he's now in his ghost form. The core has lost its shield. The Planetara is very low, 80% health. Cloud9 is so close to victory. I think they've done it, probably 50% on the core, 20%. They're falling low, but they're so
deserve to be called the first and the best world champion of Heroes of the Storm.
After placing second in all of the North America Opens, they triumphed in a reverse sweep over Tempo Storm in the Americas Championship. And here at the World Championship, they showed more heroes, more styles of play than any other team, and triumphed over the rest of the world.
What a feeling when all your practice, your weeks, months, and years of preparation all come together in the most important moment of all, in front of your parents, in front of masses of fans at home and here at BlizzCon. Cloud9 does the incredible.
I'm shaking here on the stage. I can't imagine the emotions going through them. There is the trophy, the champions, Cloud9. You can see the smiles on their faces, the relief. They're feeling all of their hard work funneled into this one moment has paid off.
Hi there, guys. Dustin, come on over. DunkTrain, You and your team will now be written in the history books as the first ever world champion of Heroes of the Storm. What does that mean to you? What does it mean to you?
I don't know what to say. It's just amazing. Like, this has been a really long road for us, I think. We've all been playing for like a year now. Some of us were at last BlizzCon, so being able to come back and like win the title for the World Championship just means so much.
Is there anything that you want to say to all these people who love you so much?
Basically, just, again, thanks to everyone who came out here and supported us and continues to support Heroes Esports. It's just really magical to be able to come out here and experience all that, and, you know, everyone's just been great. So, shout outs to you guys, for sure.
We wouldn't be here today without Blizzard, and as a representative of Blizzard, we of course have the game director for Heroes of the Storm, Dustin Browder. Dustin, I know you have something to say to these guys as well.
Well done, well done. Absolutely, congratulations to Cloud9. You're Heroes of the Storm world champions right here. Thank you to everybody out there, everybody at home in the community who participated here today. We will see you all next year.
Yes. Guys, one more time, please gather around your championship trophy, and let's hear it one more time for Cloud9. Thank you so much to all of the players who made this tournament possible, to Blizzard for providing a place for our esports family to come together here, to the casters who did such amazing work bringing the games to us here today, and of course everyone here in the audience, as well as the millions of you that are tuned in around the world. It has been such a pleasure being here with you, and we will all see you on the battlefield. Good night.